All right, what's a little tricky one to knock the thing out of my hand?
I can't really see
what all that.
Yeah, so let's do that. I think we're live.
We're live?
We're live, people.
Let's just do it like we normally do, I guess,
we
with
did
our
it.
intro.
All right.
Yeah. Hello, everybody, and thank you for coming out and watching this time and listening to The Real Short Box. My name is Donald.
My name is Supreme Chancellor Kevin.
And I, of course, am Darren. And guys, I want to dispel a myth right away. We do not have faces for radio. We are fine-looking gentlemen. We do not have faces for radio.
Well, thank you.
Stereo.
Stereo. Look at that.
And that's the thing. See, this is just a myth that has been put out there. But I will have you know, I squat 300 pounds and Kevin benches 400 pounds.
That's right.
What the shit, guys?
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, that's right. What is with the thing? You got the arms, you know, not in the jacket. They're just outside the jacket. That's a very unusual look, Kevin, I must say.
Why, you said that we were all going to wear the shirts.
The shirts. Look, okay, first of all, these shirts are on our website. Did we create a website yet?
Sure.
They will be there shortly on our website.
How much do they cost?
Real short box.
How much do they cost?
Oh, they're $75 each.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, I got to eat.
All right. Now, I know you guys are going to do this next part with a lot of passion. Where are we currently broadcasting from?
We are currently, because you know we talk about this all the time, we are live in the Temple of Comics, Spero's Heroes.
I should be folding my hands. Oh.
Right.
We have a comment here. It says, it's 8 p.m. Well, my kid pooped. Have to take care of this. Be back soon. Okay.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, maybe we won't be
All
so
right.
quick to read the comments now if they keep coming in like that. All right. So we are in the Temple of Comics right now. How many books approximately are in the Temple of Comics?
The last time when I spoke to the Godfather, Elliot Spero, the proprietor of this shop, I think he told me about 300,000 books.
300,000?
300,000.
That's insane.
And I want to know who counted those 300,000. Do they have like you know how there's a money counter? You just put bills in there. Do they have a book counter? I wonder. It would be a massive, big, you know, piece of machinery. It almost might look ancient. I mean,
It's not needed. We have many brilliant people that work here.
We really do.
And they're able to tabulate such a number.
That's right. And we are currently in Canoga Park, California. As
Yes,
we
we are.
constantly remind people, you know, Canoga Park, California is where Spero's Heroes is. Spero's After Dark, ladies and gentlemen. This
Spero's
is
After
why
Dark.
You got the black shirt. Navy blue, close enough.
Close. Rocking Spider-Man.
All right,
And
guys.
Captain America hat.
Looks like he's grabbing your boob.
You know what's funny? I think he is.
He is.
I think he is. I think he is actually grabbing my boob. Oh, my
Guys,
goodness.
Here's what I think
Being molested by Spider-Man.
Live.
Here's what we can look forward to today, guys. This is going to be great. We are going to be talking about, at least in the first hour, comic books that are going to become movies and television shows.
Mhm.
We are going to give you some great advice, stock market style comic book advice, and telling you what books
To
are
invest in.
absolutely worth investing in. And we're going to talk, of course, at one point here about very valuable books that just came into Spero's Heroes. And we're talking
there's
about
many.
heavyweights here, our friends.
Oh my God, yes. I literally crapped my pants. So that's why we were a couple minutes late. Then Derek's apparently his kid did too.
Okay, we're going to move on from the scatological stuff. I'm looking outside right now, and we see we're double digits in people here, at least 10 to 15 people.
No, I
in
say
front
more
of
than
us
that,
right
actually. I think we may have over 20 at this
No
point.
one can see. Just say there's 75 people here.
now. Yeah, but we try to be as honest as possible. There are 250 people here right now, folks.
There we go.
Okay.
People are coming into the shop.
That's why we're so crammed together right now. There's no space for us anywhere else.
Yes. All right. We're going to open it up to questions eventually here. But first of all, let's really get into comic books that are going to be made into movies and TV series and what you fully expect from them. So, Kevin, what is something you're particularly looking forward to right now?
As far as like a movie or a TV show coming up?
Either or.
Yeah. Take your pick.
There's so many. Well, one I can think of off the top of my head is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Wow.
Yes. Now, that's a mouthful, isn't it?
Hey, who was that actor? Was in Reanimator. What's his Jeffrey Combs?
Jeffrey Combs?
Jeffrey Combs did a Doctor Strange kind of a fake version of it. Really, it was Full Moon Entertainment had the rights, and what did they end up going with? They made it after they lost the rights to Doctor Strange. Do you remember this?
I gotta think about it.
If anybody out there in comic book world
Comment,
right
let us
now
know.
live can think of the name, I can't remember, but it looked like, from what I own it, I haven't seen it yet, but from the back cover of it, it looked like a madness of multitude or whatever. It looked insane.
Have you ever seen the original Doctor Strange TV show? It was like a pilot episode that's all they aired back in the late 70s.
No.
But we have seen a Lancelot Link Secret Chimp episode.
We're getting asked, what did he miss? I guess while you were changing a diaper.
We think we're very attractive and we do not have faces for radio. That is exactly what you missed.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And Kevin just showing his muscles.
Kevin, can you unpack this Doctor Strange film? Because I'm telling you, there is a lot of complexity to this. I've seen the trailer and I don't even want to attempt to tackle it.
You saw the trailer to it already?
Well, you know what I mean. The trailer, the preview, the whatever. I call it a preview. It could
I mean,
be
for
right
Comic-Con,
hand. Could be on
for
tape.
Comic-Con.
Okay, fine. We'll get the hand.
The only thing I know about it is it's supposed to have Scarlet Witch.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's going to have Loki in it too at some point. I think they're all supposed to be linked to those Disney Plus shows that are coming out in a couple of years. The Loki show and the Scarlet Witch.
Couple years?
And Vision
Is it
shows.
coming out in a couple
Yeah,
years?
2021.
Seriously?
Yes,
They're not
sir.
even coming out yet?
Nope, 2021.
That's madness.
Oh, look, well, no pun intended, yes.
No, this is Sparta. This is not madness. It's Sparta.
Very intended.
But it seems like what they're doing in Phase 4, they're doing the TV shows that kind of set you up for the movies later on, or at least they'll be linked in some way. So they have a synergy going on.
Yeah. They're taking a back step on stuff. So I could see that taking. I think maybe Star Wars is scared everything in Disney right now. I could be wrong, but
Don't get us started on Star Wars.
Why not?
Well, they're doing The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian's
true.
coming out, what, in 2 days, 2 or 3 days?
Yeah. That looks actually decent.
Yeah, it
That
does.
looks
It looks
decent.
really well. It's Jon Favreau. You can't go wrong really with John.
Episode 9, on the other hand, I don't know about that. Rise of Skywalker.
I worked with.
Can't be worse than the last one.
I worked with Jon
Can't
Favreau actually on Iron Man, and I would have to agree with you. I think he's very visually inspired. A very underrated Jon Favreau film as far as artistry is concerned is the movie Elf with Will Ferrell. And when I had saw that he was going to be directing Iron Man, I'm like, this is exactly the kind of visual guy, and this will all translate to The Mandalorian, which is also visually going to be great.
See, I thought the same thing, but with Zathura.
Really?
With
Okay.
Favreau directing that, I was like, he's got the robot aspect down, like nailed it.
Oh, for sure.
And like the outer space and adventure and stuff. I was like, this is perfect. So I get that. Really quick before we go on, though, we want to mention that right now where we're at is Spero's Heroes in Canoga Park, California. They are having a huge sale right now. Some of the stuff they're having is, you see these books around us here and behind us and stuff. All these are on sale right now. All the wall books are 10% off, I believe. And 10% is a pretty good deal when you're talking about some of these books that are on this wall. And we're going to go through that a little bit later. Some of these books that are for sale. There's also, they do have an eBay page. So please look up Spero's Heroes on eBay. They have a lot of books there for sale.
Oh, thank you, by the way.
Look, I'm telling you, there's a wide.
So likes my shirt.
Oh, he should. Although I'm still not feeling the jacket with the arms not through the jacket, Kevin. I mean, you look like an old lady a little bit. I'm just going to say, look, I spent a lot of time eating a country kitchen when I was a kid, okay? Country kitchen, I know a thing or two about old ladies and the smoking section.
He's cold.
But all these books that I'm looking around here, we have a wide variety. Everything from X-Men, Captain America, Wonder Woman. And this is 10% off. And look, 10% off of a lot of money.
Goes a long way.
It really does.
Right.
So I want to take a second because you guys are so passionate about this story. They are going to do a television series based on the Crisis of Infinite Earths story. And would you guys just take a moment to really kind of lay out the Crisis of the Infinite Earths? You know, because it's a very, very popular story. And it's going to be a great series.
We'll have Kevin over here do that. He's the encyclopedia. But I'm going to just briefly mention that the Crisis of Infinite Earths is a tie-in between all the CW superhero shows like Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, The Flash, and I think even Black Lightning now as well. It's huge. Not only that, but we're talking about they're tying in, what was it? It was the Keatons?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Batman.
Keaton's
Found out
Batman.
about that recently.
It was going to be in that. Superman.
And while we will let Kevin pontificate about this a little bit, Donald, I'm sorry, I cannot let you off the hook. You will have to talk about Ted Kord's role in all this because I know you really want to.
Tell us about
I can
Ted
mention
Kord.
it. Okay, so in Crisis of Infinite Earth, that is actually where Ted Kord made his debut into the DC Comics world.
Oh, wow.
So he left like what, the Charlton world into
Yes. DC Comics acquired the rights to Charlton Comics and brought them over and was trying to figure out how to introduce them. This is around the time that Alan Moore decided that he wanted to take the characters and create the Watchmen series. So he asked DC and they said, yeah, sure. Well, then they got a little nervous and they decided that they wanted to use those characters and they were afraid what Alan was going to do with that. So they backpedaled and they said, no, you can't use them. So like the Night Owl, for example, in the Watchmen series, that's Ted Kord, Blue Beetle. That's who that character is 100%. So when you watch the Watchmen or read it, you know that that's Ted Kord being Night Owl. And the Blue Beetle, he made his appearance in the first issue of Crisis on Infinite Earths, #1, and he was brought into the DC universe that way.
Is this the book right here?
This is the book right here.
The full set.
Look at that.
This is a real treat, ladies and
Quite
gentlemen.
Let's see if I can find him in here. It's got to be in the first issue.
So, Kevin, why don't you break down for us really what is the overall concept here of Crisis of Infinite Earths? Oh, hold on a second.
Hang on. There he is on the cover, guys. You see him right there? He's like, oh, shit. I can't fly or do anything. And
Look. Hey, do you guys see the Jaime Reyes, the Blue Beetle?
Nope, he's not in here. He's not in here.
He doesn't.
He's not in this book.
Doesn't exist.
All right, so Kevin, why don't you really give us, and I'm telling you, we have some time to really lay this out. I'd really like you to lay down.
It's been a while since I've read this book, but I remember this. It's a very complex story, but it basically you have to tie in all the histories of DC because you had all these different universes. You had Earth 2, which basically...
Not the Antonio Sabato Jr. show on NBC.
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure to clarify for our audience it is 40 or older.
I remember that. They had Tim Curry in it, and he had like a stick or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, long hair. It's weird.
We interrupt Kevin a lot. Now you can see him get perturbed in person.
No, but correct me if I'm wrong. It has to do with going back to the Golden Age versions of like the Flash, Green Lantern, so forth and so on, and then you get into the Silver Age, and you want to find a way to connect all these people together, kind of clean up all the story issues, having different storylines over the years, and Crisis on Infinite Earths kind of helped out with that. And also there were some significant deaths that happened during the storyline too, like Barry Allen.
Oof.
Hey, Rizza, we already mentioned that Spider-Man grabbing his boob. I don't know if you were here for that, but he totally missed it. I totally already brought that up. He was just grabbing that.
Can we talk about books?
And also Supergirl, famous cover, Supergirl paying the price with her life.
Yes. Also, Good Cops TV. I really want to watch the new Watchmen series as well. I have yet to do so, but it's on my list.
But I promise we will be covering it in some way, shape, or form. At some point,
we'll get to it.
Yes. Anyway, keep going.
Also, Superboy Prime starts really making an impact during this storyline.
Oh, that's your favorite character.
Well, that's my favorite Superman
Kevin
version.
Gets aroused with this character. I don't know if
this is the last time that Superboy Prime was actually a decent character. It was later on he became a bad guy, but it's the last time he was a good little boy in this particular storyline. Until the sequel, where your boy Ted Kord gets killed off, in Infinite Crisis. That's all right.
There he goes again.
Hey, he went out like a champ, though. He went out like a champ. Oh, by the way, speaking of which, you know who's playing Maxwell Lord, right? And they actually made that announcement.
No, who?
The guy who played Prince Oberyn in Game of Thrones. He's playing Maxwell Lord in the new Wonder Woman movie.
Now,
1984.
Now, I want to say, Maxwell Lord, as far as I know, out in the world of social media.
How did he make it to the movies before Ted?
Or actually, life's unfair, man.
We can just follow this on YouTube, and this is something that will make this guy happy right away. You can actually hear all about the death of Ted Kord from Maxwell Lord in a little web series, I think, from Rumble Spoon Productions.
Oh, yes.
I thought it was a great series. Lasted
What's
3
it called?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard about it.
What's
It's this web series that I do that's called the Blue Beetle Ted Kord Returns. It's actually since they killed him off in 2005, I believe it was. I said, no, this can't happen. So I brought him back, and the whole series is about his resurrection and what happens with him during
three seasons.
And was there
3 full seasons?
Fourth coming soon. Coming soon, baby.
Was there an angry letter involved to Warner Brothers from a certain someone that remained nameless about the death of Ted Kord?
There may have been. Yes.
What was in this letter? That
I might be on a watch list. I am not allowed past the gates. What are you gonna do, guys?
Yeah, I mean, look. Obviously, even though overwhelmingly people prefer Jaime Reyes, I mean, let's bring Ted Kord back. Why not?
Yeah, you're really hurting his feelings.
Ted Kord is actually back in a way, sort of. Yes, no. I mean, okay, so they brought him back for the new Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle run, and they did it in the way that welcome. Hello. Come on in. They did it in a way that that was really it was better than it was the way I wanted them to do it. Actually,
Sure.
He's more
Thank
of a
you, Jason.
mentor right now, but I wanted it to be kind of like, look, the Flash series has it down, man. They're like, we can all exist. We're all Flashes. We're all Flashers.
Flashers.
Let's
go with
Flashers,
Flashers.
Flash family.
Flash-
I want trademark on Flashers.
What would you call
continue.
Anyway, so there's a bunch.
Speedsters.
There's a bunch of speedsters. It's
Yeah.
a shit ton. Why can't there be a bunch of Beetles running around?
Right.
And I'll tell you what, right now, Red Beetle that came out in that JSA series,
They ripped it off you.
ripped it off me.
I do remember this because you created
Guggenheim ripped it off.
the Scarlet Beetle for the
Mhm.
series, and that
Mhm.
was taken
Yep.
from you.
Called
This-
it the Red Beetle. Then, like, what was it, 6 months later, that character is introduced with the same outfit that
Yep.
we were drawing and
Yep.
working on
Mhm.
at a comic convention in full public view,
Someone
which was
saw
a
it.
mistake, by the way.
Someone saw
Never
it.
do that. Never work on your project in front of a bunch of people at a convention. This is a really bad idea. People steal shit.
Well, and here's the thing too. I mean, of course, Donald will, of course, come up with more Beatles because let's just be real. He has more ideas for Beatles. He has more Beatles than Fayetteville, Georgia, does at this time of year, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm.
So, let's move on to the She-Hulk.
Ah, yes.
Now, the
Shield.
She-Hulk,
Yeah.
I have to admit, I have not been able to be up to speed on this one.
I'm
But-
stoked.
But can we kind of talk about where the She-Hulk came to be as far as the comic book, origins of the She-Hulk?
First of all, Pickle Rick, baby. Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick.
And we'll circle back to that. But go ahead, Ken.
Well, see, if I recall, Miss Walters, did she receive a blood transfusion from her cousin Bruce, and that's how she became the She-Hulk? Is that how that worked?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And she looks good. She looks good.
Yes,
Whoa.
that's right. We got a nice big thing. So anyway,
Making it awkward.
man, I love the vibe in Spiro's Heroes right now. This is
I do
really
too.
good. They're
I know.
Packed house.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna-
they are
Pack
looking
people.
through
You know what?
short
I'm
boxes
gonna take
right
a picture right now and I'm gonna post it on Instagram, guys. Go to our Instagram.
Speaking of which, if you have the ability, get She-Hulk #1 while you still can, because that issue is blowing up.
There we go.
now. Yes, and if you think in the second hour we are not going to go in depth into how you can make money flipping your comic books, oh, you're out of your mind.
Yes.
Dude, I'm so stoked to talk about some of the books
Vintage
that we're
Ultra.
prospecting.
Elliot is here. Don't worry, he is here.
This shit's gonna be on fire.
Yes. So what we're seeing right now, this kind of reminds me, Donald. We were at Long Beach Comic Con, right? And
Mhm.
I saw you mining, and I mean you were mining those long boxes and those short boxes at this specific booth. And I remember a guy just walking up, looking at you, like, "Hey, what'd you pull out of that box?" And you'd be like, $1 comic. That's what I pulled out of this box. This
Yeah.
guy had no idea what he had.
No,
And-
the dude that just got in, like he had a full collection, like 10 long boxes. And he's like, I just got these in. And he put them all for $2 a piece.
And
Because I'm sure he didn't pay a lot, but he never looked what was in them.
And look, Spero's, the Temple of Comics, they don't have 300,000 books in like a leaf pile here, okay? They're all in boxes. You could be mining them as we speak, getting the exact kind of, great finds. You got me an Obadiah Stane
there's
first
three-
appearance for $2.
There's 3 specific rooms. There's a Marvel room, a DC room, and an independent room.
And not to pull heavy on this, but when I've gone back there many a times, and I'll tell you, the way the comic market is right now with them announcing television shows, movies, cartoons even,
You never know.
the next future high value book could be right over there in that room. Guaranteed. For 50 cents, guys. So pick them up. Pick them up.
I mean, this is just this is common sense, folks. I mean, whether you want to flip them or collect them or slab them, they make great decorations. I'm telling you right now, we are going to get into some books later that are definitely worth the decor of your house. Let's talk about this. Comes from the writer of the Umbrella Academy, the new series Moon Knight. What have you heard so far about Moon Knight? Because I'm kind of intrigued, because this is one of our like low key, really popular books in our collections.
Well, the one thing I do know about Moon Knight, good luck on getting that issue for a good price. I mean, even a crappy copy is going for hundreds of dollars.
Now,
$40.
define a crappy copy. Like, what grade
what
are
I
we
think.
talking?
I'm talking like a dog shoot copy.
Okay, that's like 1.5, maybe.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Oof.
Pretty much.
Have we heard much about the series, or is it just all hype at this point?
The TV series is coming. I believe it might be coming out, if not next year, then in 2021, but it is coming. It'll be on Disney Plus as well. And rumor has it, from what I'm hearing, is they may want to link it possibly to the Blade movie.
Yeah.
Maybe do like some of those darker Marvel characters. And that's Midnight Suns, right?
Hey, look.
Yes,
and Midnight Suns.
the Darkhold. Guys, the Darkhold.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Ghost Rider.
Darkhold is Marvel's version of the Necronomicon. Derek, I know that you just got a little chub over this. The Darkhold is going to be one of the coolest things when they start to open this story up. This is the next big, guys, this is the next big thing for me personally, and for a lot of you, I can guarantee. All you late night people out there, that you B-movie freaks and geeks, you're going to love this. The Darkhold is the Marvel's version of the Necronomicon. The most recent story that I read that involved the Darkhold was the Carnage run from a couple years ago, which I know if you've heard me talk before, I can't push it hard enough.
Yes.
That series by Jerry Conway is one of the best horror comic book titles you will ever read in the history of horror comics. And I've read a lot. It's phenomenal, guys. Highly recommend it. But yeah, the Darkhold is going to be coming out with that eventually, and it's just going to go from there.
Now, on a quiet note here, I'm going to go through some stuff that's been released. Okay, DC has impressed me with their movies, the last 3 specifically. Okay, I really liked Aquaman. Aquaman was colorful. It was enjoyable. It was fun. Jason Momoa, I enjoyed him way more than I expected I would.
How did you not enjoy Jason Momoa?
Well, I haven't seen him spread his range. As far as I'm concerned, he's
spread his wings since Baywatch.
Well, regardless, I mean, I didn't see that kind of, he was just so perfect. And then you follow that up with a sneaky little mid-budget film, Shazam. And I'll tell you, man, Shazam was hilarious.
It was a lot of fun. It was a very fun show. I expected it to be good, and it did not lower my expectations at all. It only made them equal, if not higher. It was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then finally, I saw the Joker, and look, Joker's a hard movie to enjoy, at least from my point of view, but you must admire the art that was involved.
Speaking of that,
Joaquin Phoenix was great. All right. He was really something else. The set design, the way that they really captured that 80s time period in New York City when it was a little rough in New York City, I was like a really big fan of that. And, that kind of takes us to, we're going to stay on Joker for 1 second. And then I want to talk about Wonder Woman 1984.
I just want to show you a quick, we're going to talk about this artist a little more, but Artful Joe is what he goes by. Artful Joe, and he just did this cover, guys, and it's phenomenal. So check it out. Ready?
All right, here we go. Yeah, and I think you should do a slow zoom in there.
Slow zoom in. It's going to cover my face, so it'll look better.
Here it comes.
If I hit it, there we go.
Look at that.
And boom, look at that baby.
Look at that.
And naturally, you can get that at Spero's Heroes right now.
Right.
I'm looking
at
a
for
stack
sale,
of them.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, this is available for sale, guys.
How much?
And he's done several pieces like this of different characters, and we're going to present these throughout. So definitely,
What's the price on that, Donald?
what is the price? $120 for this book.
10% off.
For this art. No, I think
That's
it's
not
just
that.
$120.
Okay, just making sure.
$120 for this book, for this beautiful art. So if anybody's interested, contact Spero's Heroes, contact Elliot, and he can put you in touch with the artist.
And we fully endorse him and the quality of his work. Now, this Wonder Woman 1984, I mean, here's the thing. I don't know how to feel about it necessarily, but based on the first Wonder Woman film, I have to give it a fair shake. And the vibrance and the color, and we all love the 80s. Look, we are old enough to remember pieces of the 80s. And honestly, you could look at a bleed through into like 92, 93. There was still a lot of 80s culture, that was going through there. So
real quick, Shazam was a pleasant surprise, somebody says. So that's good. Yes, we totally agree. Yes, Jason, that's right. And where can I get a shirt that Donald is wearing? Well, we will have them available soon. Trust me.
We're just going to call our guy in Glendale.
We, by the way,
That's true. Our source is in Glendale.
We have 2 artists that worked on this. The original design is by Louis Castillo, who is our staff artist for Rumble Spoon Productions, the production company and what we do the podcast through. And then our Photoshop work magic was done by Maria Friesen, who does a wonderful job with this kind of stuff. So,
all right.
Thanks to her as well.
All right. And let's talk about right now where you guys see the Marvel Universe going as far as movies and television right now. What in particular are you looking forward to?
Geez, I think the biggest dark horse is going to be What If series. I think the What If animated series has a lot of potential.
They're supposed to take
really great.
They're supposed to take every movie that's come out and make a What If episode out of each one, if I recall.
That I don't know. So if that's true, that's great.
I think they're gonna do it. So every single Marvel, every single MCU movie that's come out, they're gonna make a what if episode
based on the characters in each.
I believe so.
Okay.
Now we are very
What
fearless
if
here.
Ultron 1, for example?
We are very fearless here on the Real Short Box, and by
Yeah, I'm not wearing
fearless,
pants.
and by
That's a
fearless,
lie. I am.
I
You
mean
can tell.
broad sweeping generalizations we are not afraid to make here. And from just observing, listening to you guys, the way that you have been talking over the years, is it fair to say that when it comes to animated work on television or film, that right now DC, you can't go wrong with the animated stuff, and you might even say, broadly speaking, it is better than Marvel overall?
Some truth to that. Some truth to that.
We're talking just television?
No, we're talking more the animated.
Animation.
The
Animation.
little films that just kind of pop
God,
up. You know.
night and day.
Spider-Verse,
okay.
one of the exceptions. But
Okay. So DC did these little vignettes, these little 7 to 10 minute long animated shorts.
Awesome.
They did one for the Spectre. They did one for Jonah Hex. They did one for the Green Arrow, and they did one with Catwoman and a few others. Shazam and Superman battled in a longer version. In
Green Lantern one?
fact, the Shazam versus Superman one, they put all the little vignettes on that one because that movie was a little shorter. So you can get the whole set of all the little vignettes with the Shazam versus Superman. That's your best bet, guys. And it is the best animated storytelling you'll ever see in DC. It's phenomenal. All these little shorts. That Spectre one alone.
Oh, that was awesome.
That one that will make your pants tight. It's
I wish it was longer.
Super
I
exciting.
wish it was longer. I
Super
hope they make
exciting.
more. I hope they make more of those.
Yeah. Now, Kevin, do you generally agree too with this? That
Yeah,
DC
generally
right now is
speaking.
rocking.
I mean, the Spider-Verse movie was when they accepted the rules out. That was well done. But we'll get to that later. But that that was well done. But
Yeah.
yes, DC, generally speaking, I do tend to enjoy their animations a little bit better.
Now, Donald, I noticed you got your voice loose a little bit here. I'm going to do something that for those of us who are joining us for the first time, we're generally pretty positive. We're filmmakers ourselves. We're artists ourselves. So we try not to be hard on too many things. But Donald, I know you have very strong opinions about the new Batwoman series. And I think it would just be an excellent opportunity for you to rant on your thoughts on this series of I'm done. Lee, you just go ahead and just go.
It's just poorly done, guys. I'm sorry. What is her name? She's the lead on it. Rose.
Ruby Rose.
Ruby
Thank
Rose.
you.
Ruby
Thank you.
Rose.
Ruby Rose.
Ruby Rose. I always get it confused with Chris Tucker.
Thank you,
saying
audience.
Ruby Ross, from The Fifth Element. Derek, you know that. But Ruby Rose.
Multipass.
Okay, so I like her. I think she's a solid actor. I think she can do the job that anybody else. I think she's just really good. I like her. I like her as Batwoman. She looks really cool. But as Miss Kane, she just doesn't. It's like it's Val Kilmer's Bruce Wayne.
Oh.
If you get it, like Val Kilmer looked like a cool Batman, looked like aesthetically with the face and the mask and stuff. But he was a shit Bruce Wayne. Let's be honest. He was a shit Bruce Wayne.
Well, I can't blame him
was no
entirely.
Michael Keaton.
The script wasn't that great either.
Shit. You can blame that. That's acting right there, and he didn't know what the hell.
Well, look, if someone tells you to act a certain way, what can you do?
Look, and
you can say no. That's Val freaking Kilmer. You know how much he was making per movie back then?
Okay, and
all he had to do was say, "I want to be in a movie about this," and the project got greenlit.
And to be fair, who has watched Batman Forever within the last 6 weeks? Okay, raise your hand. This guy right here, and I'm just telling you right now.
Nobody raised their hand. See, nobody raised their hand.
Batman Forever. Batman Forever. I mean, look, Jim Carrey chews up the scenery. We all know this. I don't know if it was
Tommy Lee
necessary.
Jones, you can tell, does not want to be there.
Well, does he not want to be there, or is he just not coherent during the entire filming of the project? I'm serious.
Maybe it's both.
I have my doubts.
Maybe it's a little bit
at
of both.
this point. And the Nicole Kidman, love storyline maybe went on a little too long.
Derek, good to see you too. Thanks for coming out.
That's right.
Tell the kids they said goodnight and behave themselves.
Eli, hurry up and get here. So he's heading over right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once again,
Elliot says Donald makes too many pants references.
Well, this is a fair point. And once again, that shirt is from Glendale, baby.
Probably right.
All right. So here's kind of an interesting thing. So obviously the Marvel MCU, universe has really taken this film industry by storm. But with Avengers Endgame, there's obviously they have peaked out. you know, they're going to essentially go away maybe for a little bit, and then they're going to come back. How do you feel about this new generation of what they've announced they're going forward with overall?
With the Phase 4?
Yes.
Movies, just movies, not
Yes.
television.
Yeah, we'll go with just the movies. So the TV is inconsequential to me at this point.
It's hard to separate the two now that they're going to make it to where you have to watch the series in order to know what's going to be happening in the movies later.
Yes.
Like they're integrating it that much now. And that's what I think something that's both clever and not so clever, so to speak. It's very clever in the fact that it makes you have to get Disney Plus or find a way to illegally pirate stuff like that.
Oh, we don't do that.
God, no. Why would we?
The Amazon stick does
why
not
would
exist.
we do that?
I mean,
the Amazon stick doesn't exist.
I will say, just real quick before you continue, I will say my lovely lady was extraordinarily offended to learn that Disney's remake of Lady and the Tramp will only be on that streaming service.
Are you serious?
It will be. But here's one
terrible.
thing. Here's one thing about that. From what I'm told, and if I'm incorrect, please correct me if I'm wrong. Katie, you can do this. Katie's right over here. She'll correct me.
She is the master of all Disney knowledge.
The queen of Disney.
We almost won the trivia.
Yeah, they went to the trivia.
We were one question away from winning the trivia. I was so mad. I was mad with her.
She was the one-person team.
Yes.
So the Lady and the Tramp movie that's going to be on Disney Plus used all rescue dogs for the movie.
Great.
Which I think is really smart. It's a really nice way to go. By the way, you have to get this in order to be able to you have to buy our program in order to be able to watch this movie. But we used all rescue dogs, guys.
But look, you know, like if you're going to put everything else in the movie theater, and let's just be real here, The Lion King didn't break any new ground. The new version.
Made a lot of money though.
Okay,
but I will say the Jungle Book was phenomenal.
Okay,
if you didn't see that one,
well, I'm looking at my Disney expert right now, and according to my Disney expert right here in front of me, Katie, if I can catch your attention real quick, she will say that Cinderella was the best of the live action remakes at this point. Is that fair to say? Because
really?
I know she really liked Aladdin.
No way.
It was maybe
Cinderella. I didn't even watch that one, Katie.
I'm curious because
Cinderella, Aladdin.
Jungle Book's not on
but
there.
not Beauty and the Beast.
List?
But not Beauty and the Beast
You're
either,
drunk on
correct?
power too.
All right. So
They got rid of the vultures. It's not cool.
Yeah,
Yes.
it changed too much in Beauty and the Beast. And
Beauty and the Beast was
Cinderella
really
I thought
good.
was good.
That wasn't bad.
I like Cinderella.
That's
I
what
like
we make
Aladdin.
money. $1 billion of this.
Yeah, Aladdin was fun. I think Will Smith did a heck of a job.
You know, to be honest with you, if it wasn't for him, that movie really collapses.
oh my word, yes.
Because no offense, the other people, you know.
Right.
you know,
And one thing I want to say real quick to everybody here in the shop that's listening, if
coming in.
please do not regret mentioning that if you want to look at a book that's near us or behind us.
Just say something.
Feel free.
I will grab the book for you if you
yeah,
want me to.
these are
I will
all.
grab the book
These
for
are
you.
all-
See, I see a man look at me right now. He's looking at something.
Look, I
You want
mean,
me to grab
I'll
this
tell
book for
you,
you? Want
this
that
is
for you?
look. I just want to take a moment to point out this.
All right, you let me know.
This is a very impressive site. We have a multitude of people back to back right now,
Diverse group
skimming
of people.
through the long boxes.
People young and old coming in.
And you know, you're probably gonna be like, "Oh,
Oh my
Darren,
goodness, the Godfather's wife is here.
hello."
Hello.
And people are kind of like, "Oh, you know, I mean, you know, you're gonna keep repeating this over and over." Yes, I'm gonna keep repeating it over and over. In these boxes, we have experts mining these all the time, but there's still things that can be missed. Come down and check these books out. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed.
And
It's
all
not
these
like
wall books are 10%
this
off,
is
by the
not
way.
just stuff
I
that
see
he
your eyes
pulled
looking,
out of
sir.
his
You want some,
closet.
don't you? I see your eyes.
Elliot
I see
Spero.
temptation.
Elliot Spero is actively, as we speak, is always getting fresh books. And I'm going to get into what I like to call
Ooh.
the heavy hitters. But
Ooh.
before I do that, Kevin, would you please explain what was just handed to us?
I was handed a sheet by the consigliere. It says here, Spero's After Dark Sale, wall books, just in, short boxes, 10% off.
So all the wall books and all the just in short boxes.
10% off.
Okay, 10% off
eBay store items, because obviously there's an eBay page.
Yes.
Right.
20% off.
on eBay store items.
eBay store
So you have
items.
to come in with a list basically and say, I want this book to get it in the shop 20% off, right?
There you go.
Got it.
Then complete comic sets 25% off.
In the front room.
Whoa.
In the front room.
Wow.
Here we go. Here we come. We're getting close to the Godfather deal right here. Just in lawn boxes, 30% off after purchase of $15 or more.
That's pretty good.
So if you give a Hamilton and a Lincoln, Ooh, 30% off.
And then if you get another Hamilton, you get 3 Washingtons back.
Yes, I believe so. I believe so.
Nah.
And last but not least, graphic novels or any of these big fat omnibuses, 40%
just
off.
big bone omnibuses. They're not
40%. No, the omnibuses are awesome because that's a great read. You can take that on a plane ride with you.
Very true. And to talk about the Godfather of comics, Elliot Spero here at Spero's Heroes, and to talk once again about Artful Joe.
There we go.
He did this lovely piece of the Godfather of comics. This is Elliot.
This is what it looks like with that iron fist lit up.
Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. Look at that. It does. His fist does light on fire, guys.
It
just
does.
So you know. He's
And
done
guess
it
what? Right now, he actually has a Diet Coke in his hand. For real.
It's really funny.
Look at that.
It's really funny because sometimes if you give him a book and he won't pay attention, his hand lights up and he'll
Yes.
burn the book.
It's not carbonation. Those are
Not carbonation.
It's boiling.
It's boiling. Oh my
Boiling.
goodness. The
Oh my
Godfather's
God.
son is here.
Guys,
He's
let's
speaking.
just be honest. Like the oxygen is getting less and less plentiful here because we're really crowded up in here. This
Yes.
is really impressive.
Oh, and another friend of ours is about to walk
Extraordinarily
into the live
happy. Now,
stream. Look at this.
we're going to get into a section real quick, and this
Let's
is
get into it.
where we really
Let's do it.
You
have
got a brand?
true
You
love.
got a brand?
real
ready.
big love here. I would like to talk about some heavy-hitting books that just came into Spero's Heroes.
Oh, yes.
Now,
yes.
these books, we will try to feature them at some point, during our live stream this evening if possible. But I 100% guarantee you, these are here. We are not in any way, shape, or form exaggerating the condition or the value of these comics. I would like to first start low, and then we're going to go nice and high, okay? We have a nice run. There are 7 brand new, and by brand new, just came into the store, Fantastic Four comics. I'm going to start off with the very first appearance of the Hate Monger. Now, talk to us about the Hate Monger a little bit here, Kevin.
The Hate Monger, I don't have as much knowledge on Hate Monger. I know he does.
Donald,
Talk about the Hate Monger. I don't know as much about the Hate Monger, Donald.
yeah, we are actually, Donald is actually over here right now. He's taking a puff of a vape pen. Vape pens are going to be illegal. Get your vape pen.
Vape pens?
Yes.
Oh, my
We should do
goodness.
vape pens right now as we speak.
Okay, here we go.
Real
Here we
short
go.
box of vape pens.
Here we go.
This is your first appearance of the Hate Monger right
Look at
here
that.
at
Look at
Spero's
that.
Heroes.
He just hates everything. Guys. He just hates.
Donald, break down what the Hate Monger does. I'm not as familiar
And there are
with this.
parallels to real life
He has a
about
gun,
the
a
Hate
ray
Monger.
gun. I don't know that much about him. He has a ray gun that he shoots rays, and he hates so much. That's it. That's all I got.
All right,
That's it?
there you go.
All right.
All right,
next
since
one.
we have the cabinet open there,
Superpower.
we're going to talk about Fantastic Four 25.
my
This
God.
is the
I'm up
very
Oh, here we go.
first.
Here
Hold
we
on,
go.
hold on.
Here we
Keep
go.
it quiet. This is the very first Hulk versus Thing fight.
It's a classic.
This is epic. The Hulk versus the Thing is no joke. One is complete rock, and the other is Incredible Hulk.
Check it out, guys. Look at this.
This book, 100%
Huh?
verifiable, is here right now.
Right.
We actually did some
Very
of our
exciting.
favorite superhero fights, and this one easily got into our top 5 best superhero fights and it was the buildup. Everyone wants to know if the Hulk fights the Thing, who would win? And as far as I can tell, it was the Hulk. All right, our next book we should have coming here is Fantastic Four number 48, correct?
No.
No. Which one is it?
This is issue 12. This is the other part of the Hulk thing. This is where like
yeah.
the
Here
Hulk's
we
like-
That's their first
go.
encounter.
Hulk's
That's
like on
their
the other
first encounter,
Here we
right?
go.
another second and I'll destroy them
That's
all.
their first
Hulk
encounter.
never thought that like advanced. Come on. Hulk smash. That's what he was thinking back then. Look at that.
Just
Beautiful, right?
okay.
Beautiful.
Guys, now we are going to get into something that
The heavy hitters.
Kevin is just smiling, just holding on to this book.
Yes.
All right, so the Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer film that was, produced by a friend of the show. I will tell you right now, Galactus and Silver Surfer, this might be the best story in the Fantastic Four. And we have right here the very first appearance of Silver Surfer and Galactus. This will be Fantastic Four
Very
number 48.
iconic cover. Look at that.
Oh,
Look at that beauty.
My word.
You see the Watcher there. Like you see, he's like, behold what is coming.
We recently did an episode, guys, of which supervillains had the best
that
chance
beauty.
at world
Look at
domination.
that.
Galactus very
Damn.
easily could have dominated the world, despite the fact he didn't really want to.
Mm.
This is a man who
Look at
eats
his
planets.
size of his forehead alone
Oh,
on the Watcher. Look
this
at that.
this book is outstanding, and I'm telling you, There are not many of those floating around
This really is
locally
a
in the area.
beautiful book. I'm not going to mention anything about pants, but
All right, Kevin, what number do we have next? I'll do a little intro.
The very next issue,
What's the
which is
number?
the first 49.
All right, 49. We're
The
talking
first cover appearance
second-
of Galactus.
This is the second Silver Surfer appearance as well. And Kevin, if I'm not mistaken, you own these books in
Yes.
some capacity. Okay?
This one here I own as for those who are in the comic book industry who understand, a CGC 7.0
Ooh.
signed by the late
Kevin,
great
break down
Stan Lee.
CGC real quick.
CGC is considered the top of the line golden grading company. People send their books there all the time to get graded, or if you have a signature series and they verify it and they're right there to witness it, they'll give you a gold label. But basically, it's a way to sell your books at a higher price if you choose to do so. Or if you don't want to sell your books, just simply preserve your books and hang them up in your room or in the living room, wherever the case may be.
I'd like to get into another one because this Fantastic Four lot's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. So before we do it, let's do Fantastic Four 45. This is the very first appearance of the Inhumans. The very first appearance. Are you kidding me? This is in Canoga Park, California, as we speak, and it could be on your shelf. Get right in here. There's the Inhumans.
For a fair, righteous price,
That's a
it could
pretty
be
book.
yours.
Oh my
Here,
gosh.
look, I'll just put my shirt by it. So we'll advertise both. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm going to block
down. It's on the
there.
second shelf.
So there, this podcast got better looking. Just block them both. You can't see their faces.
All right, guys. Kevin,
go,
Donald, go ahead. Please present Fantastic Four 30. This is the first appearance of Diablo. El Diablo. This is a really awesome.
Is it L? I don't see an L.
It's not La Diablo.
Wasn't El Diablo DC?
Cool. All right. And finally, this is one that's very near and dear to Donald's heart. Donald,
My heart too.
if you wouldn't mind just sitting down, because I want the audience to see your reaction to this when Kevin presents this. This is one of Donald's favorite characters, no doubt about it. Fantastic Four, number 52, the very first appearance of the Black Panther.
Look at that.
This is here
Look at
right
this
now.
awesome cover.
This is a film that is still making money, as far as I know.
Still printing money.
And honestly, like, there is no price that you can put on this book at any point. It will go up in value continually.
How much money did you
is-
pay for
there's a
this book?
price.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it will continue to rise. Do you know why? Because as the years go along, there will be less and less first printings of this. And this is a character that clearly is one of the most profitable characters in movies we've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, I used mine as a napkin not more than like a year
And
ago.
he has it in
Wow.
a display
Really
case
foolish.
because we have great customers that come in here. I would put it in a lockbox. That is an unbelievable comic book, guys. And don't worry, if you missed our presentation here of these, we will present them again later. What do we
Perhaps.
have on
Let's see.
top?
Quick break here. I got a question from the online audience. Tales of Suspense 27. I believe we can do that only if you're able to come by the shop. So
Is that accurate?
Vintage Ultra, are you able to come by the shop?
Yeah,
Come over to the shop.
I mean, you should be coming to the shop
Thanks,
anyway.
Hamish.
We have donuts.
Wait, do we still have donuts? Are they all gone?
We have donuts.
You
Let me-
sure?
I'm not in the art of false
I'm gonna check.
advertising
I'm gonna
here.
check on these donuts. I just like to get up.
Yeah. All right. So, Kevin, there are some people here that are joining us for the first time. The very, very, very first time. Okay. Now, as you know, we do a lot of top 10 lists, right?
Yes.
And one of the most interesting things that we did, which we thought had a lot of great crossover, is we did our favorite professional wrestling heroes and professional wrestling villains. And it got ugly, guys. I'll be honest. Like, this is one of those times we generally agree on a lot of things here, but Donald, he crushed me for picking Bret the Hitman Hart as the best wrestling hero. And I think that was very unjustified on his
I
part.
couldn't find any donuts, guys.
So what are you eating?
There you go again.
So what we stuff in your mouth with?
I'm chewing gum.
No, you're
Yes.
not. No, you're not. Chewing gum. Chewing something else.
So, yeah, but anyway, so we're just sitting here. This is huge. I cannot get over how many people are in here enjoying Spero's After Dark. This is we have people of all ages here. This is really something else.
That's true. We have the young, the middle age,
And the rest of us?
The bold and the beautiful.
and the beautiful.
And the very old.
And, well, come on now. You're not that old, Godfather. You're only 54. You're fine.
We-
You wish.
There are donuts. There are donuts in the back on the desk, right when you walk back in a pink box. Believe it, who puts donuts in
Now-
pink box?
now,
Everybody.
we're going to give you something that very few people get to see. We are going to have a behind the scenes conversation right in front of you. So, guys, were you thinking maybe once we get to like the 8:55 mark, maybe take a 5-minute break and then come back and continue our live stream? At 9, was that the best way you think we should go
Yeah.
about this?
Yeah, Kevin will put on a hand puppet show.
Okay.
While we
No, you
we
can't
break.
talk to them. This is behind the scenes, but not really.
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Okay, great.
I'm just looking at the screen when I do it.
You're looking at the screen. You're spiking the camera, which is completely permissible, by the way, in a podcast.
Look,
That's true. It is.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's
great. So does that sound like a plan?
Yeah,
55. Okay, so we got
Sure.
8 minutes left here. Let me
8 minutes, and then Kevin's going to do a puppet show with his hands.
and let me tell you right now, guys, what
Better
you can
do
look
it.
forward to in the second hour. This is what I call the stock market of comic books.
Uh-oh.
Prospecting, baby.
This guy sends us a message the other day, more behind the scenes material. He said, I want you to help me with 65 books, folks. 65 books. That is a ton of books.
Mhm.
It was a huge thing, and we came well short of that goal. But the thing is, we will make sure that the pontificator over here goes in, because look, you cannot just say, hey, buy this book. You have to defend what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Mhm.
And this is something that we do all the time. We, as a podcast, are doing everything we can to add more substance to this. You
It's
know,
true.
no disrespect to the superhero beatdowns, but we could honestly do those all day and night, and no one would listen to us. They'd get bored.
Superhero Smackdowns.
But I really like how some of us are very, we're almost like lawyers. We
Okay.
build a case.
Real quick, though, just to say, if we're not going to talk Superhero Smackdowns, 110% Magneto can take Superman in a fight.
Ooh.
Challenge me.
Actually,
Challenge
let
me.
me add to this.
Challenge me.
Swamp
It's
Thing.
possible.
Swamp Thing can beat the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, that's true, too.
And I will say anyone who thinks Superman can lose is anti-American as far as I'm concerned.
Really?
Superman is America.
Yes, he is.
Is he,
Yes,
though?
he is.
Pure
He's
Americana.
Kryptonian, actually.
Justice.
Pure Americana.
You know,
And the
if you wanna
American
be-
way.
If you want to be technical, he's Kryptonian. He's not American.
Or whatever Vancouver says when they make the next Superman series here on the CW. So just I'm curious, you've been able to look up there. Who is tuned in here that maybe we are quite familiar with?
Isn't Reza still on there? Jason, Reza.
Okay, Vintage Ultra, we will let him know for sure. And we'll go ahead and hold that book for you.
Yeah, we'll take a moment here. Guys, we're going to keep talking, but if you just throw your hand up, we will take a question from the audience. If you have any questions for us, until then, we're just going to keep going and just
Jeez.
finish in this first hour strong.
Somebody said Kevin is awesome.
Well, he
Oh,
is.
thank you.
He is. No,
Earlier, they said Kevin had a good shirt. Kevin is awesome. Do you have somebody
We-
you told to met? You did.
No,
didn't you?
I've done
You
nothing.
did,
I've
didn't
done
you?
no such thing.
we
Is it your
literally
mom?
have
No.
lines out
It
the
says
door.
Kevin's mom
No,
right
it doesn't.
there.
No, it doesn't.
Under the name.
First of all, at this point, she's sleeping. Oh,
It
here it
says
is.
Kevin's mom.
Hey, guys, check this out.
It says Kevin's mom not sleeping in parentheses.
Before we go on break,
Just saying.
this issue here, Fantastic Four number 20, what's special about this is, well, two things. It's the first appearance of Molecule Man.
Yeah.
But, comic books back in the day, I think even, are they starting to do this again where people can write letters to the editors? They still do that?
Yes.
A very important person, a very special person wrote in the letter section. George R.R. Martin, when he was a teenager,
Yes.
wrote a letter to the publisher in Fantastic Four number 20. And by the way, we will post that later on.
That's gone
On
up
our
on
page.
Instagram. That was an awesome find, by the way. And
Yes,
Donald,
it is.
I know you're a Molecule Man guy. Last I
am.
heard. What,
I am.
could you give us some background on who and what Molecule Man is all about?
Yeah, some dude, he can change molecules basically. So if, for example, I have this napkin and I was like, boy, I wish I had a piece of chocolate cake. He can change the molecules within this to create chocolate cake for me, which is really the coolest power in the world. I can't even speak to how popular you'd be with the ladies being able to manipulate things into whatever
Turns like
they-
a ring.
into whatever they want,
Roses.
or the men,
Or the men, whatever the case may
Yeah,
be.
and,
Right.
and by the way, since we have a moment, we're kind of closing out on the first hour here. Can we take a moment
Jeez, it's been an hour?
to thank a few people who have made this happen?
Well, first,
I'd like to thank my mother and my father. My my parents having sex was very important to me.
Wow.
We have
you need to go
we
there?
have young
Wow.
children here, brother.
If it
Wow.
wasn't for that,
This is-
it's, a,
wow.
it's a very natural thing. It's a very natural
But
thing.
they don't need to hear that
Okay, this
until
is Spero's After Dark.
until 13. Yeah, but now
Okay,
like that.
now time it. Okay, so I have my eyeballs on a number of people. I thank your mom and dad because they're awesome. But I have my eyeballs on a number of people that we can thank here. We have the
Oh
great.
yeah. Oh, you meant the people. Oh,
Yeah, we have
People.
The
People.
great.
Gotcha.
No,
The
as
people.
Bane would say, the people.
Yes.
Now I've got Elliot Spero right in front of us here.
Godfather of Comics, the proprietor of this shop. Let's give him a hand. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
300,000 books. Just when you're counting sheep at night, count to 300,000. That's how many books are in this
That's
shop.
never going to happen. No
11
one's
years
ever
in
gonna do that.
business and stronger than ever.
And let's thank some of
300,000.
Spero's great staff here as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We have Sarah. Let's see, what else we have?
We have
Who else?
April.
April.
outside there. Okay, great.
April has been assisting today. She's been very helpful. Very helpful.
We
Thank
have
you,
the
April.
great Shant.
Oh yes, of course.
Sean. Always a pleasure to have you here at the shop.
And then, of
helping
course, you
out.
have the Godfather's lovely wife, Harriet.
Yes, thank you.
For allowing him to have the shop.
Yes, allowing him to have the shop because you got to get permission.
Kidding.
You gotta get permission.
And Donald also too. We should thank both our lovely ladies here who are our tech crew for this production.
Oh yes,
We're very
Andy and
happy.
Maria, yay! And we can't forget to leave out the two sons, the power hitters of the family, Matt and Josh, the sons.
He's got a Danzig shirt on, Mother 93. Baby.
Oh my goodness!
Oh
And then
yeah.
I see a third generation. I believe that's the granddaughter.
Yes. Hello. Thanks for
The,
joining us.
the Sarah. There we go. Good Lord, we got 3 generations of Speros here. This is
And
ridiculous.
thanks for letting her stay past her bedtime. We really appreciate it. We have all sorts of stuff here. So,
We'll
guys,
tell you when to cover yours.
I think we're going to take a small break here and come back
so.
at 9.
5
And
minutes.
trust me, you're going to want to be back for prospecting because we're going to teach you how to make money.
We're just going to leave the live feed run. So anything you hear cannot be incriminating towards us at all.
And for those of you who
That's
want
not
to
me.
post your questions, this is an outstanding time to do it.
Yeah,
Honor
we'll
thing.
be popping back
Thank you.
and answering.
That
whatever
is
questions
our
you have.
number one.
I was going to say,
All right,
cards
thank you.
for the
Oh yeah.
afternoon.
Kevin, puppet show.
Are you serious?
Yeah, do it.
Well, where's the puppet?
Your hands. I told you.
My hands can only do so much.
Use these guys. Make them dance.
Wow. So I'm gonna stay here and play. This is ridiculous.
Yes.
I mean, you deserve a break.
Where is Stumpkin? Where is Stumpkin? Here I am. Here I am. Do you?
Ain't that serious? Be back in 4 minutes 35 seconds.
Coming, everyone. Hope you're having a great time.
Thank you guys.
The house looks fantastic.
Sir.
I mean,
Good to see you.
good.
How you doing?
Right, brother?
Man, brother. Good to see you. What do you like? Yes, matter of fact, Sean actually created an echo when you turned it on.
Oh, yeah.
How many? Does it show you how many?
Yeah, it is.
I'll look at it later. But I know I told my friends that they're coming and say, "Oh yeah, I'm watching it right now."
Yeah.
Let's get some. Maybe have 100 at least.
So,
How you doing?
so that's your brother coming out.
I'm sorry.
Gosh, dude, where did you get these books?
I was hoping for the taco.
What is that, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that what you- No, it's all one set.
Yeah, so
Including the
one
12
plate.
and the 48?
So it goes up. There's
There's one over here, yeah, but he has some of the right here.
There's all this stuff, and then there's stuff in
On
going
the
back.
top shelf right there.
But this is like the,
Oh, yeah, of course.
big stuff. Oh, but yeah, he got it.
That's right, because we were going through your stuff yesterday.
Cheese with that, and look, you say, well, you know, that's a nice shape 48.
It has like a 1 inch
Miss Spero.
attached
Oh,
but
Like Elliot.
it's, you know, you're not gonna take it out.
I'm not gonna have to bend down to the bottom shelf.
Because our 3 hour show, let's take a little break and then we get back to it.
Beautiful books.
How long are you guys' episodes?
Oh,
Is Chris here?
this is like something unusual.
Yeah, he said he was
Something
on.
fresh for doing. I've never done it.
I got here at like 8:40. I figured I'd be here for like
No,
Hey,
no,
I
no.
want to show these
I
guys.
need
Oh my
Give
goodness.
me your book.
Godmother and Harry.
I can't be here without getting
the
that.
artist of
Give me
that.
your book.
I'm really good.
You look great. You look great.
So, Lisa,
When matter even.
these books have like white
What's that
covers.
star?
Some books like
That's right, like 6 months ago.
some artists drew that. I'm like,
Member of the family.
Wow. So
Sorry.
How you doing, big man?
Joe's here, the guy that did this, did these, I'm gonna sell it for him.
oh, no kidding.
My way.
Three hours.
No, it's like a Shakespearean play.
Absolutely. You know what? We're going to start Act 2 in a moment.
It's what he does when
That's right. We call it the intermission. There we go. Intermission.
Guys,
I got these from the
This is fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
you guys, take it back.
No, it's Elliot. Who's the artist?
Artful Joe Flores.
That's even his signature.
Oh.
Thank you so much. I'll see you.
Okay, take care. You want to,
It's still there.
If she's on.
They are New York specific or something. She's very shy.
I know. But
did you want a bag for that?
I'm okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
No, I know, but I'm still not gonna. Hey guys, feel free to step back. You're be on. Feel free to step back there. You get a live. You'll be on the live stream. Your shirt will.
Oh.
Feel free.
Yeah. What? I'm doing right now.
We'll probably get more than
You know,
10%
the way
off.
to get
Probably
rid of
get more than 10%.
Yeah, sure.
Spider-Man's nice.
And a little more.
Oh, wow.
That's how you want it. You can give me a high five.
I might want to
I can't believe all the customers that showed up. Wow.
We're gonna have to do this more regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's funny, once you show that you can kick it off the one time, the other times people will slowly start filtering.
But you were helping time.
That's really good.
I mean, this is amazing.
And then, oh, glad we get to feature these awesome books.
And you know what? People were signing up to your podcast. They say you guys are great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I kind of got lost.
Wait till we get into prospects. This is kind of our thing. That's our wheelhouse. We don't want to save it till hour 2.
Oh, just all right.
In a good way. Bad but good. So, it was fun to random. It's almost on my eye now because I look shade gray. And then that was
And then,
some older ones. And then the
oh, so many people interested
I
in
bought
this.
comics for
These. Look at
that
some.
because it just looked really neat. And that was the world mentors.
Always a pleasure to be
Is one in the back?
yeah. Well, Manny's back there. I'm gonna go take a gander.
Okay.
Very nice.
And if anybody's got recommendations of what they want, like,
Isn't that beautiful?
do some.
Yes.
No, it's signed by the artist.
Oh,
Artful Joe.
Yeah, right.
Probably hour
Yeah,
3
Instagram,
if we do it. I'll talk to them on the next break.
But yeah, I'm glad.
Keep on.
Oh,
These are.
do you want to come? Did you want to look at something?
These are his.
Bless you.
It's like my weekend, but I'm going.
We're getting close to coming back, guys.
Real close.
Vintage Ultra, you are most welcome. Please make sure you come tomorrow, though, or it'll go back up for sale. Okay? Just to let you know.
Yeah. So
Bless you.
props,
Thank you.
I'm trying to get
Those props, like as far as like notes on prospect and all your things you need.
Is that more?
Yeah, this is, Kimball's gonna take this.
Great.
Oh no!
How you been, man?
How you doing?
Good.
You know what? If you want, you can.
Oh no, it wasn't me. Yeah, how you been though? I haven't seen you for a while, man. Joe, how you doing, man? All right. He's really high on him.
All right, folks, we're going to resume momentarily. Thank you for sticking with us. We really, really appreciate it. Let's see here. Okay, great. Big hello out there to Stealthwing Productions. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't worry, your day will come in the sun. This is a very great event. There's a good chance we're going to do it again. So yeah, this is awesome stuff. Thank you very much, Vintage Ultra. We got 2 more hours, and this is the prospecting hour. Watch, and you're going to see us really shine. Oh, first time watching. Wow, Vintage Ultra, thank you.
Oh,
really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Please feel free to listen to our podcasts too. They're available on iTunes, Spreaker.
You know what? The wrestling thing. You want to know about Ultra?
Spotify, Google Play Music, all kinds of stuff. And if you can't hear me, I'm apologizing now. I'm going to turn it around here if I can, so you can see there's just a buttload of people. So hang on. Let's see if you can see them.
Great. It's just weird. I did indie wrestling in college, so anybody who wrestles knows Ultimate Warrior. Very little wrestling skill, so that was kind of what
That's just part of the fun.
As it goes. But Hogan Warrior is still like a cornerstone match.
Not the latter one.
Here we go.
Yes, it would be in the back room.
Oh no, I was gonna say we actually have races signed by
Under
Jerry.
whoever.
Oh, really?
Oh, cool.
We're gonna keep
Subscribe.
that on
Thank you.
deck, actually.
Appreciate it.
We can start in on that. Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
Sorry, we were taking like a donut
Okay,
break
sweet.
and
Thank
like
you.
a quick break for water and stuff like that.
Sarah,
It's okay.
My throat's very dry. It's hard to talk for 3 hours straight. Where's the other? I must have knocked it off.
So we can.
What are you looking for?
But I don't know where.
I found it.
But I can.
All right, so she asked if we could intro this first. This is ready for some hour 2.
It was fun.
All right.
And we're going to talk about prospecting right now.
Prospecting is up. Yeah, hour 2.
Kevin?
Yes. Do you have your hand props?
Free with my life.
That thing. You got your hand props, right? Okay, cool.
I hate when people go through your pile.
All right.
So we start off. I'm gonna
Guys, we're resuming in just a moment here. Thank you for sticking with us. This is good stuff. And hello to Rachel. We love talking that you continue to watch our live stream. And also, we know you are the biggest Supernatural fan alive. Katie's right on the other side, too. She's waving. In her beautiful new royal blue jacket. All right. Yeah.
You do it, and then Kevin, you go in.
Look at this. That's so funny.
All right. Guys, if you wouldn't mind out here in the galley, just keeping it down just a pinch. We'd really appreciate it. Feel free to just keep it down. All right. Ready, Kim?
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Real Short Box, hour 2 of Spero's After Dark, our live stream. I am, of course, Darren. Waiting in the wings here is Donald. And, of course, we have
Supreme Chancellor Kevin.
All right, so as we promised, hour number 2, we're going to talk about prospecting, ways to make you money or collect books of value you didn't think were valuable. Now, first, before we do that, I'd like to take an opportunity to let everyone know that this collection here of The Punisher is available and signed by Jerry Conley. Just wanted to make sure to push that out there. And
5-issue limited series.
That is basically 5 of 300,000 books that are actually available in the Temple of Comics here. And it is a temple. The walls are 10 inches thick, people. So you can't get a bullet in here. You might not even be able to get an RPG through these walls.
I highly doubt it. And the thing
All right.
is, we have actually multiple rooms, but 3 primary rooms: the Marvel room, the DC room, and the Independent room.
And Kevin, let's not make them wait, okay? We are in prospecting. I want you to put up the first book, the book we have been waiting to show people because we want to start with a heavy hitter.
Well, right here, this is the Walt Disney Comics and Stories. You know, this is a beautiful book from 1992, something I've had for a very long time. One of my top 3 treasured books. Oh!
It's trash. It's all trash.
Oh my!
We want to hear about good books. We want to hear about prospecting books. Things like The Black Knight.
I don't think it's wise to turn off the Disney fans that are currently in our live stream by doing such
You
a
just
thing.
disrespected about literally 20 million people who love
What is
Disney
that?
books.
What is that?
This is Walt Disney Comics.
Trash.
I mean, it's technically
Trash.
It's Marvel technically as well. So I mean, you know, it's
What you just witnessed here was a desecration. This is something that real comic book people don't do.
Your childhood means nothing to me.
that is a hate crime
Wow.
against mallards, my
Wow.
friend, against mallards.
Wow.
All right. So, guys, usually the way that we do our prospecting episodes, and by the way, these are some of our most popular episodes that we do when we talk about prospecting, is we kind of go down one at a time and really bring up
See?
each book.
Thank you.
that we
Blasphemy.
like.
Blasphemy.
So here's what we're going to do, all right? I'm going to go through books in my personal collection here, guys. My personal collection, because these are books that I think are absolutely worth your time to prospect. Don't mind me. I will be looking down at my notes as I go through these. Now, first and foremost, we are going to have Spider-Man number 361. This is your first appearance, 9.4, because, you know, these guys like to measure the size of their you-know-whats when it comes to their comic book collection.
That's a beauty.
But I'm telling you right here, a 9.4 newsstand edition. And you ask, does that make a difference? Yes, there is extra value to a newsstand edition.
Show the people.
As
Show the
opposed
people
to,
that book.
so what you can do with the newsstand edition, you see that little barcode that is currently down in the bottom right-hand corner for me, bottom left-hand corner for you. That barcode shows that it is a newsstand edition, as opposed to one that you would get in the mail. For those of you who used to be, you know, folks that would get your comic books back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, you could get them in a newsstand, or you could have a mailed subscription to you. This book here, it is a book that they say everybody owns it, yet I continue to see these for over $200 or $300 sometimes just sitting around on eBay. Now, I purchased this book in 2003 for $8, folks.
$8.
$8.
Man, you overpaid. You know how much I paid for that?
How much did you pay for this?
I paid cover price.
Cover price. Okay.
I got it off the stand.
So
itself.
here's the
Whose
thing.
is bigger, guys?
Kevin is a little insecure, as we have just established over here. And he
No,
likes
I'm
to
just
do
telling
this.
the truth. I bought it off the newsstand back in 1992.
Well, we know what you were trying to do there.
What
I
was I
could
trying to
see
do?
the look in your eyes.
What was I trying to do?
Especially the left eye.
Looks like a baby.
And it's on camera right now.
Wow.
So this one right here, this is outstanding stuff here. Now, let's talk about what's in here. This book blew up just by a small little tease in the post-credit section of the Venom film. Now, I happen to enjoy the Venom film. It was bizarre. It was off-colored. It was really strange. But you know what? It also made $80-some million opening weekend. And I think that really kind of appealed to people.
And we all know that box office equates quality.
Yes. So basically, this is your
course it does.
your first full appearance of Cletus Cassidy as Carnage.
Woody
okay?
Harrelson.
Yes, Woody Harrelson. And look,
Am I
Woody,
the only one that thinks that that's bad? Like that he just looks ridiculous with that stupid hair?
but he's Woody Harrelson. There's something. It's just there's something very appealing. Now this
See,
is
someone agrees with you.
now this
Wow.
is something that I think
Thank you.
is slightly off color about this book, if I may. Something that's a little off color about this book. This was written in 1992. There is a telephone conversation, okay, where basically Peter Parker is hiding. He's basically the phone rings. He's taking a private call. Aunt May yells downstairs to him, Peter, who is that? And be like, oh, it's just a call for me, Aunt May. She's like, oh, because if it's Donald Trump, tell him I'm available for dinner tonight.
Yep.
Now, I'm saying, as we currently sit here, Donald Trump is the president of the United States. And
He's not
I think
available for dinner.
this might, in 2019 or in 2020, because he's going to still be president, that might be an interesting little quirk to this book that may add some value. It may not. I'm just trying to think outside the box
It won't.
and help you here. Okay.
No value.
Okay, but I just think it's a fun little quirk. Now, another
It's a cool
book
cover.
I'd like to get to. Thank you. If you wouldn't mind just stacking that for me.
Real quick,
This is
we have a question from Hamish that wants to know, is Marvel or DC better? Well, Hamish,
Oh God,
that's a good
that's a whole
question.
second hour.
That's that Hamish.
Hamish.
Your name, sir.
We love you.
We're sorry. He knows. I don't. But anyway, based on your question, is Marvel or DC better? That's a loaded question because we've got comics, we've got television, we've got animation, and we've got movies.
It's personal.
Plus, we just have personal things. Yeah, anybody that knows my history knows that the first comic book I ever came across was the Blue Beetle Ted Cord. It was in my family's library, which was like 5 books, and it was there. It was all torn out. My sisters were demonic devil children that scribbled all over it.
Wow.
Just
Wow.
crunched it in their hands. I get sorry, I get a little shit about that.
It's all right.
No, that is the heat in here too.
But,
we are jam packed, folks.
They're devil children. My parents will tell you that too. I was the angel. Anyway,
Yeah, I bet you were. I bet you
so
were.
I came across that book. So naturally for me, I grew fond of DC Comics. Also for the fact that I had trouble reading when I was younger. So comic books really got me into reading and elevated my reading level.
Yes.
But what really sprung out to me when I was first starting out reading was the fact that DC didn't have as many blocks of verbiage, of words. Like there wasn't a bunch of blurbs that would tell you what Peter Parker's thinking, you know? It just had Superman and he's like, I'm gonna fight you. And the other guy was like, I'll fight you too. And then they fought and then they talked a little bit while they fought and then that was it. Like that's all you had. So for me, I'm very fond of all of DC comic characters. I love DC Comics. The movies are a mixed bag, unfortunately.
The recent ones are better.
The animation's 5 stars for me. I think a lot of the animated movies are fantastic. Their television's hit or miss.
Adam West has a special place in your heart.
Legends of Tomorrow got really good with season 2 and only elevated from there. Arrow can just die in the dirt. I'm sorry. I wanted to love it, but it's just the action's great, but there's just not much story to it, to be honest.
And Hamish, I'm not sure if you're a video gamer, but the Marvel video games to me are far superior. If that's something you're into, I think the X-Men Legends games, the arcade games.
Yeah.
I just Arkham Asylum to me is just not it. I'm sorry, it's just my opinion, and I will speak for Donald on this because I've heard him say this to me multiple times when it comes to DC. I think Donald believes if DC were executed properly, it would be superior to Marvel in a lot of ways with television and in film, because the way that you talk about DC characters as opposed to Marvel characters, it's just a little different. It's not drastic, but it's subtle.
I think DC's B-level heroes are way more fascinating, infinitely more fascinating. They're B and C level heroes
Like Constantine.
than their A level. Yeah.
And
Constantine, the Creeper,
Resurrection Man.
the Demon. Resurrection Man's a C level as far as I'm concerned, but he should be an A level. What's our favorite series written by Tony Bedard? Tony, if you're watching,
Rebels. Rebels would be an awesome adaptation.
His run in the early 2000s, I believe, is when it was phenomenal. Oh my god!
All right, guys.
I mean,
let's get back to some prospecting titles here. Now, this is another book from the personal collection. This one here is Amazing Spider-Man 100. Now, you can still get this for a fairly affordable price. Now, let's be real here. Some prospecting titles are easier to predict than others, and then there's the wing and the prayer prospecting titles. Now, this is just my unique viewpoint on this. When you introduced Mysterio into a Spider-Man film, I thought that was a very off-color character. It made me start to think of things such as the Spider-Man series. I don't want to say it's running its course, but they're going to have to dig into some of these smaller storylines. And if you're going to have Morbius, by the way, which they remind me is always appears in 101 and I have 100. The thing is that I've come to learn over and over is that if you have in Spider-Man 3, if you have emo Peter Parker, anything is possible. Okay. And my feeling is this storyline where he basically wants to reverse, his curse, if you will, of having these, and he ends up growing additional arms. My feeling on this is that is something, it won't be a full storyline, but it could be a small storyline. And if you own this book, this will blow up overnight. I mean, it hovers around, I'd say like $50, $60 as we speak, depending on your condition and stuff like that. And this, I mean, it's kind of a wing and a prayer, but if they go through this storyline, you'll be happy that you own Amazing Spider-Man 100. Mm-hmm. All right, so next, I'm going to go with Tales of Suspense number 59, okay? Now, this is actually, as I recall, this is one of the early, if not first, stories where Captain America and Iron Man are together in a Tales of Suspense. Also, we are talking about the first appearance of Jarvis. Now, the reality of the situation is Iron Man was killed in Avengers Endgame.
Kevin. Was this first Jarvis?
Yeah. And here's my thing.
Sound big and nerds we are.
And the thing is that Jarvis is essentially Iron Man's butler, for more or less. You know, he's cool, but he's also that too. Iron Man, you don't know, because I was in the first film. Let me tell you, it transitioned and changed comic book movies.
Here, wait. Let's act like you're in the movie again, okay?
Okay, great.
Hold that. That's your thing.
Okay,
And I'm gonna
great.
be
Here we
like,
go.
okay, so ready? I'm Tony Stark. I lean up to the bar and I'm like, Scotch, please, or whatever he asked for.
Mr. Stark,
Yeah, whatever.
which did not make the final cut, but my beautiful face did. May I have that book?
He did have a line.
So the thing is what I'd like to say also too about this book, because it's the first appearance of Jarvis. My point is, Iron Man essentially blew up Marvel Studios into being what it is today.
Absolutely.
So if you think this character is done forever, you are out of your flipping mind. And Jarvis is very instrumental to the beginnings and origins of Iron Man and Tony Stark. And this book, honestly, it is not that expensive. I think it was going for 50 or 60 at a con, which means I know you can get this book, a raw book of this, for less than $30.
Let's get started on con books real quick. I'd like to talk about that. We go to a lot of comic book conventions, and guys, do your research when you go.
Oh, God,
please do your research.
They'll rip you off if you're not careful.
Check your eBay listings. Check your guide listings.
Don't overpay.
Just make sure what you're going in to buy is and what you're willing to pay. What I always do is I write a list of books I want, and then I write down beside it, I write the amount I'm willing to go. And I don't budge from that amount. I'll try to go, obviously, like, let's say I have $60 for a book that I'm willing to pay for. First thing I'll do is I'll go up to the person, I'll be like, will you take 40? You know, I don't want to pay the maximum I'm willing to pay right away.
And most of them, if they're smart, they'll negotiate.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to say it's a yard sale, but these are vintage books, and it's not like they just brand new came off the press or anything like that. And they're usually, people are willing to wiggle a little bit. Like, people, if they put like $120 on a book, they're most likely willing to go down to at least 100. And if they're not, walk away.
Yes,
walk away. You've seen it. You've seen me walk away from booths. I'd be like, will you do this? One guy wouldn't even go down, like, what was it? It was $10. He wouldn't go down. He went down 5. He's like, I'll go 5. And I was like, well, I really won't pay more than this. And he's like, no, I can't do it. And I said, okay.
That's it.
You're lost.
Nick, I did receive your question. I got 2 more books, and then we will definitely answer your question live on air. All right, so I'm going to have to go for a prop here because you guys, I mean, for those of you that are first-time listeners, you don't know this, but for those of you that are regular listeners, you all know Iron Man is my guy. So I'm going to put on the cap for the visual aid, and yes, I'm just going to say that out loud. It's like it's like watching that stupid movie that M. Night Shyamalan did, where basically they were overtelling the entire story, the Lady in the Water or something like that. Yeah. So for this one, I'm going to go with a favorite of this show, and that is Invincible Iron Man number 118. Oh. This is the very first appearance of Jim Rhodes. I have seen it here, Elliot, at your shop. I don't know if you still have it or not. It's popular. Sure this book, honestly, you can get this between $15 and $25. And let's just tell the truth here, okay? The studio loves Don Cheadle as the War Machine. They really do. They love him as Jim Rhodes. This is going to happen. It is only a matter of time. It has been close to getting made multiple times. Buy this book up now. I promise. Number 1. Now, this is not a massive flip.
He's not exaggerating, by the way.
This is the most. I think this is the most printed book of all time.
It's up there.
And it's awesome. No question about it. But I've been hearing rumors about Jamie Foxx playing Spawn, and I think that would work excellently. To be perfectly honest.
Played Al Simmons? It'll work.
Yeah. This is not going to flip for a ton of money. I promise you. It just isn't. But you know what? This book, there's a legend behind it. It's something that you definitely want to hold on to. Now, here's the thing, Kevin. I have a question from Nick, because I don't want to do this last book until Donald comes in and returns here for us. But this is a question from Nick.
Okay.
Nick would like to know from you, in your opinion, but once I can actually not password myself out of my phone, what is the best new comic book series, in your opinion, to be getting into right now?
Best new one. I can think of one that came out about 6 years ago that I really like.
Okay. well,
Saga.
Why?
Fiona Staples, artwork. Brian K. Vaughan, excellent writer. Saga is just like a combination of science fiction, romance, adventure. You can't go wrong. I mean, you gotta check it out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm thrown a little on the fantasy stuff. Like, I mean, the artwork is tremendous in a lot of these fantasy books.
Oh, yeah.
I can't debate that for 1 second. But the reality is, you have to build a base to really tell a good fantasy story. You have to create a world. And I just be honest,
Brian does that.
That takes patience. It really does. This is why I didn't. You guys are Game of Thrones guys. I had to give up on it because I just couldn't. The patience. It was too slow for me.
Well, I wish I gave up on
Final
it.
season. Yeah,
You wish you gave up on
So
it.
Donald, the question that was given right now, by the way, Donald, was from Nick, who's listening to us
Yeah,
right now.
what's
You
your
know
opinion
Nick
on
very
this?
well. He wants to know, in your opinion, what is the best new comic book series to be getting into right now?
Oh, geez.
Well,
That's right out now. Well, I heard a lot of good things about Doom. I got the issue, but I haven't read it yet. So that one I'm getting high recommendations on.
oh yeah, Immortal Hulk. That's
did-
like another one.
I think. Excuse me. I think the Deceased run is a miniseries. It's a 6-parter. I think that's a lot of fun for those of you that like Marvel Zombies. DC waited about 15 years, maybe 20, 15 probably, and they were like, "Oh, we'll decide to do a zombie thing now." But it's actually written by Tom Taylor, and those of you that know Tom Taylor, his Injustice run, which I believe is still going on, is absolutely phenomenal. Get the first volume at least. Well, volume 1 and volume 2 is the 2-part whole season collected. Get that, and you'll be hooked. Trust me. So Deceased, Injustice, and then the Doom series, I think, is
That's
also.
the question here. Why is Saga not being produced yet? What do you think of that? Why is that?
Too fresh, maybe too new.
I
Yeah,
know it's
actually,
hard to
it's-
adapt. Yeah, Saga.
Oh,
It's like a
It's
movie
been
or TV show.
discussed.
It's been
Ron
discussed.
said he won't.
It's
He
been
said he won't do
discussed
it.
Yeah, he
quite a
said he
bit.
won't.
And you start to get a backlog here as well. I mean, the reality is there's so many characters in the comic book world. Like, we are talking about comics that go back to Dick Tracy. I
80
mean,
years.
we
over
did
80
a
years.
great Indiana Jones episode where we talk about serials at length. Look, there are just characters that go back as far as can be. And to just jump on something now, it just can be difficult. Now, this last...
I want Marvel to introduce the Gibbon. Yeah, Vintage Ultra mentioned that. Yeah, sure. I don't think that's going to happen, but hey, we got Hydro Man, sort of. So if you can have Hydro Man, you can have the Gibbon. So don't give up hope.
Now, this last one is a very important investment that I would recommend to all of you. And we're talking, of course, of The Walking Ted.
Oh my goodness.
Hey!
The Walking Ted.
That's
Now,
probably one of the best
How much
comic
that
book
worth?
series I've ever
well,
read
I'll
in
tell
my
you what,
entire life.
this cover alone is priceless. Because it's just a cover.
Show the people. show
But
the
we
people.
just had this great
Just some
opportunity.
trading cards.
Yeah, you see the trading cards. You can see, obviously, myself. You can see Black Licorice, played by this man. And, of course, the Blue Beetle, who's all over the place. But I just wanted to bring that up. I wanted to tell you, I still bag and board that thing. I think it's really outstanding. And I think, honestly, your perspective, being that I worked on it, your perspective of how you were retelling that Blue Beetle story, we could tell you were a real fan and you really thought it out.
Thank you. Yeah, it took a lot of effort, and I was glad to have these guys on as characters and behind the scenes helping out with the production as well. Season 4 is going to be coming out pretty soon, actually. We've been talking about getting it up and ready to go. It's shot. It's in the can. It's just editing. I don't know if you guys ever worked with editors, but I have trouble. Like I haven't had a lot of luck with editors. They'll come and go pretty easily. Some just disappear, and I think I call them dirty magicians.
Dirty magicians.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they find ways to trick you into thinking that they want to work on the project, and then they disappear. Dirty magicians.
No, I was just curious. So we're going to do a little more prospecting this time from you guys. Preferably, maybe some visual aids you might have handy at the moment that you would absolutely be able.
You want to give me the helmet? Give me the helmet.
Now with this helmet,
Now,
great magic. Well, I mean, we're showing our faces. I took the hat off. Actually, while we're at it,
Jon Snow's supposed to be playing this character, right?
I'll play it better.
In the Eternals movie, The Black Knight.
I think I've
Kit
already sold
Harington.
the audience.
Nacho.
Where's your mask?
A big shout out
I don't need
to
a
my
mask.
younger brother
I don't need a
Brian for
mask.
giving me a present that has no value to it.
Oh.
It has no value, but you know what? I appreciate a good prank. A good prank.
I
And you-
appreciate this mask from Kevin and our buddy Jared.
And by the way, Brian, you have surpassed our older brother Eric from the Ultimate Prank when he bought me a Blu-ray of The Human Centipede. It has been surpassed.
Why would anyone want to watch that movie? Why do anyone want to watch that?
You know, it's funny. One of our people on the live stream, Nick, asked me the same thing after we were done watching it. He actually was looking to jump out a window because what was the point of living? He said, "What is the point?" So anyway, please talk to me right now. I see a really good book in your hand right there.
Something that Donald, I believe, has a copy of as well. So we're talking about the Joker movie earlier. This is a cool little short story from Brian Ariello, Joker. I mean, look at that cover. Look at that. Look at that disturbing cover.
That's a face only mother could love, right?
Especially the back.
Donald, do you remember when we went with a friend of the show, Corey, to go see The Killing Joke? Because we were speaking earlier, how much we really dig, with watching basically DC just kill it with these animated movies. I see a lot of like inspiring looking art in there and things of that nature. And yeah, I don't know. I'll tell you, I dig that movie. I don't know if I like the little, Batwoman, Batman side story, but hey, we call that filler in the industry, guys.
Batgirl and Batman, they did the nasty, I believe.
They do.
Spoiler.
Bizarre.
And it was a bit ill placed, but I see why they did it. But it's good stuff. I mean, I enjoyed the rest of it for what it was, and just a movie-going experience. The fact that you could see that animated movie in the theater. They don't put out too many of those animated features in anything.
Oh, it's not a features. I like the one where Batman was in ancient Japan. But they're like, it's kind of like samurai Japan.
Did we watch that together?
Yeah, we watched it together. That was a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
that's right. I had the samurai sword and I chased you around the couch.
do you guys mind if we take another question from Nick? He'd like to know, what are your thoughts on the Walking Dead TV series, which I know he's a huge fan of, by comparison to how it goes in the comic book?
Well, they sanitize the TV series, that's for sure, in comparison to the comic books. I'm sure you would agree with me on that, Donald.
Thanos Rising book.
Oh, excuse me. Someone's asking me to pull a book.
I'm pulling a book.
Right there.
Look at that. Look at that.
There's action going on here.
Somebody wants this book. Thanos Rising.
Possibly.
Cool cover.
Possibly.
Low pressure sales here. So what do you
10% off?
Now, Donald.
That's right. 10% off.
Donald, you have some really outstanding Walking Dead books, along with Chew as well. So I know you're really into the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
What do you feel about the series versus the comic book?
I'm just gonna pet my Black Knight, like my cat, on my lap.
You know what?
But yeah. So I've been collecting Walking Dead since issue 8. I missed 1 through 7, and now I can't afford them. Or could, but I don't really want to.
You know
It's
that
too
suffering makes Nick happy.
Wait, the prices are coming down. The show
much.
it's
I
comic
know,
book edit.
but
They'll come down.
not down enough, but they've
All
come
right.
down. But I like The Walking Dead. The series, the show, man, I don't know. Like season 1 was great because it was a tight 6 in and out. It was well done. I really liked it. Frank Darabont did the directing on it, and had his hand in pretty much every aspect. Also, he did the first episode. They turned it into a black and white episode, so it was phenomenal. It looked really cool in black and white, which is what he wanted. But once I got to season 2, they started the people at the barn. They slashed the budget. They increased the episode count, so it's not nearly as good as it should have been. There was a lot of yawners episodes. Nothing much happened. People would cry and stuff.
Episodes.
But you got to look at it this way, though. What I say about The Walking Dead is it is a drama set in a horrific apocalyptic event, which is, the fall of man. So it's a drama first and foremost. It's not an action film. It's not a horror film. It is a drama with horror elements.
The zombies are just the background.
So yeah, you have to take that into account. But as a television producer, director, and writer, you have to write moments in there that don't make you fall asleep. And there's been times where I've fallen asleep. So I don't know what the last 2 seasons are like because I haven't watched them. I just haven't had time. But the comic in its early days was better than the television series. But the comic book should have ended 20 issues ago before it did. I just didn't understand why it was still going. There wasn't much to it. It was boring. So I was glad to see it was over.
Now, would you tell it to Robert Kirkman's face?
Yeah, sure.
You would tell it to him.
Yeah, he's probably watching. He's one of the live people right now.
Well, there are 500,000 people logged in right now. It's really
Everybody
great.
can see the
How many
count. It's
people
like
logged
2.
in?
500,000. They don't. Oh, they
Hi,
can see
Mom.
it. Oh,
Yeah, I don't even think.
yeah. I got to work on that compulsive lying thing.
I didn't tell my mom.
And to answer your question, I honestly, I've not really watched too much of The Walking Dead, and my defense is there's just too much to watch. Lay off me. I got a life. So anyway, what is some other, Donald? I really am curious to hear what you would be prospecting on right now, as you are a master of collecting first appearances. I honestly, this is not a prospecting issue, but I know you're a big Taskmaster guy.
Oh,
I know
yes.
you love pushing that
should've
book
brought
as
that
much
one.
as possible. But when I see you mining through these short boxes, what's like a really good book that you would be prospecting on ASAP?
Let me show you.
Oh, he's gonna show
All
us.
right,
He's
we're
gonna
going
show
off
us.
here.
He's gonna show us. Uh-oh.
Actually, step off for one moment here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here it is.
Guys, thank you for coming to Spero's After Dark. You know, your attendance is going to make this happen again. We really, really appreciate what you're doing.
All right, so 2 real quick that I'm going to give you. Just 2 real quick. This one's hot, guys, hot off the presses. And I'm telling you right now, this one is available here at the shop. It's 10% off. So honestly, this is my must-have of the week, my must-have book.
When we finish this live stream, can we maybe get that writing on our live stream? Must have, must have, must have.
Must have.
Easily.
Okay, so guys,
Here we
it
go, here we go.
is The Incredible Hulk, number 449. Reason why this is my must-have, this is the first appearance of the Thunderbolts, guys. Now, I don't know if any of you are aware, and you probably, some of you that are pretty savvy are, they said that they are working on early development for this comic book storyline of the Thunderbolts as either a television series or a movie. Honestly, at this point with Marvel, it does not matter. Television, movie, whatever. They announce it, it turns into liquid fire.
It really does.
This book right here, if I was in the shop right now, I would buy this book.
No, you're right. Peter Porker.
I would, yeah, right? I would buy this book, 100%. It's reasonably priced right now in the shop. It's 10% off as well. It's well worth it, guys. I highly recommend you pick this up. In fact, I'm going to set it on the counter over here because someone's probably going to buy it before this is over.
Donald, I'm going to stroke your ego a little bit. We exaggerate here from time to time, but I'm not going to exaggerate. I want to say north of 90% of your prospecting recommendations hold water. You have really...
You made me some money.
Oh, my gosh.
Maybe
No
some
question.
money.
So, guys, when he talks, please listen. And we get no benefit from giving you wrong information. This is all right information. And trust me when we tell you, just take our advice and go out and get these books.
Scholarly, I'm Professor Don now.
What do you got here, Professor, in your hands as we speak?
Yes, class is in session. Yes. I have Ghost Rider number 2. This is very important because this is the first appearance of Son of Satan. Those of you that don't know, there is a series coming. What's it on, Kevin?
Hulu.
This is going to be the precursor to the Darkhold, I believe.
Yeah, the Prep of the Darker shows on
So
Hulu.
we're going to get some stuff coming with this series, with the first Son of Satan. So I highly recommend this book. Is also available at Spero's. Here's I pulled it up off the wall. 10% off tonight. So if you're watching and you're nearby, come on in. If you're in the shop and you're listening, this is a must-have. This is a very, very big must-have, guys. So I highly recommend the first appearance of Son of Satan.
Get it now.
And you can also access this through the eBay store as well. So I would be very, if I were you, this is no-brainer stuff here, guys. We know you are spending way too much money on books that you can't even really hold the value on a lot. Get something that's going to hold its value or increase in its value. It is not so much about the dollars you make, it's the percentage gain, and easily triple digits. We're talking triple digit percentage points here that these things can go up.
For example, in 2009, which is 10 years ago, I bought the first appearance of Moon Knight, which is Werewolf by Night number 32. I paid $40 for it, which at the time I was like, is ridiculous. I'm not paying $40, sir. I paid the $40 because they're hard to find in the wild, to be honest, and they're not easy to find in decent condition. This was in decent condition for the $40 I paid. So I picked it up, and now it is, I was checking what sold at what grade on the book. It is easily an $800 book. So
800.
wow, I had to wait 10 years for that. Think about it.
You're patient.
I mean,
You're
it
patient.
really didn't cost me anything but the $40 to just put it in a box and forget about it for a while.
And now it's 20 times the value.
We are actually, Donald, honestly, we are talking not triple, we're talking quadruple digits. We are talking that's about a 400 or excuse me, 1600%. Like, I mean, that's unbelievable.
Ridiculous.
It's a good investment. So that's why I'm saying, like, for example, this book here and the first Thunderbolts. The first Thunderbolts, you'll be paying a little bit more than what I paid for that first Moon Knight. And it's well worth it, because when they announce these characters in film or in television, that book's going to go through the roof, and you won't be able to touch it for less than $300 right away.
Look, and we're here to help you. This is why you come to Spero's Heroes, and you do not go to a convention. I promise you, at a convention, they know what's going on.
This is the convention.
They know what's going on. That book is overpriced at every convention. This is where you want to get your stuff.
We
I assure you.
don't call this place a con, because you're not getting ripped off.
No, not in the least. We are talking about, I mean, I gave you, you had like $100 gift certificate here, right? You had like 50 books, right?
Okay. So check the Instagram page for the Real Short Box. Yeah, Darren and Katie were so kind. For my birthday, they gave me a $100 gift certificate here.
$100.
So I came in and I was super stoked, because they had the issue number 1 of Nailbiter from Image Comics, and they had it signed by all the creators, like the artists and the writers, and it was a beautiful book. It was graded, CGC graded. I think it was like a 9.8 or something, and it was super reasonable. So I got that, and then I got like 50 other books. I swear to God, 50 other books.
Speaking of which, there's a gentleman there with a whole stack of books he's about to buy. Look at that.
It's good.
Oh, by the way, good choice. Good choice. Another good choice.
Anyway, as you were saying, Donald, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, get your books, get them now. They're worth a lot.
All right, great.
That goes back on the wall. That is the
Thunderbolts.
first Thunderbolts, guys. First appearance of the Thunderbolts. Highly recommend you pick it up. I'm not joking.
I'm going to want to keep that right by my head all night, baby.
I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. What's up?
Get that preacher.
Preacher off the wall right here?
Yeah.
Off the wall, guys.
Literally. I just noticed that.
We're not talking about
First
Michael
appearance of the
Jackson's
Preacher?
first solo album
Sure,
here.
why not?
We're
Go ahead.
talking about
I
the first appearance of the
put this
Preacher
back
here.
here.
The show is currently on AMC.
It's still on AMC?
I believe so, right?
Oh, wow, okay.
So, yeah. I just noticed this. This is a cool cover. Going back almost 25 years.
Watch the lens glare there, sir.
Oh,
Make
yes.
sure you get that hit. Guys, you know, it's funny. Yeah,
It's a
I
nice
mean,
copy.
it's interesting. I personally, I like what AMC does with some of these comic books, especially these indie comic books. I mean, Preacher, I'm telling you, is one of the most off-color TV shows, but it fits perfectly because it's a rather off-color book.
It is.
You know, and yeah, so we got some really great stuff here. I'm seeing stacks of books disappear, which means you need to be here.
People are buying. People are here. They're
Oh,
buying.
but there's 300,000 books. Trust me, it's going to be less than that.
Okay.
A lot less.
So another book by Artful Joe that he did the artwork on. Look at this one.
Ooh, look
All
at
right,
that.
tell me who it is.
Nice.
Tell me who you think it is. Ready? You see it?
Tom Petty. No.
It's not John.
No,
Tom
but
Petty.
it's within the
I know your
realm.
audience. I
It's
have
within
some
the
Tom
realm,
Petty
though.
fans out there.
But check it out. That's pretty sweet, right? Dave Grohl, baby. Dave Grohl.
Dave Grohl
Right
from
there.
Warren, Ohio.
No, the band is called Foo Fighters, Darren.
He's from Warren, Ohio. He has Dave Grohl way.
Yeah. He's from Ohio, yeah.
Awesome.
It's beautiful artwork. I wish I could take credit for it, but I had no part in it.
You know, another book we should mention.
None. Although I do look a little if I had longer hair.
Another book we should mention, even though I don't have it on me right now, is New Mutants 98. Even though it's still a triple-digit book, I still recommend that you go and buy that book, because when Deadpool enters the MCU,
That's true. That's a good
watch
point.
out.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, I went through some of our old prospecting notes, and it's funny that if for those of you who've heard us before, new listeners, this is your first time hearing this. We do the prospecting episodes probably every month or two, and they say, hey, can we do another prospecting episode? And the same titles keep popping up. And you know why they keep popping up? Because these are legit. I am a huge fan, by the way, we've got the very first appearance, okay, of Gambit. This is your Uncanny X-Men Annual number 14, or X-Men number 266. Gambit, you have to understand, if you're a real X-Men fan, Gambit is right up there, in my view, with like the Wolverines when it comes to the heroes. We're talking about just an awesome, really, really cool character. And Gambit is going to be in a movie. It's not going to be, like in the, X-Men Wolverine origin spinoff, where he just kind of made this quick little appearance. He is going to be a huge character because Disney now owns that property, and they know that he is a huge character. You can still get this under $100, which is unbelievably befuddling to me. And you might say, well, that's a little much. Listen, this guy was complaining about a $40 Moon Knight. He could have been $800 richer just waiting on it for 10 years. Trust me, you want Gambit. Gambit is the way to go. Find it anywhere you can and just pay whatever it's worth.
Also, I actually paid $75 for Gambit during the height of the X-Men craze. And it's still around that, if not less.
And look, Disney is going to rebuild this universe now that they have the X-Men. I've seen it here.
Probably
I'm not sure
5.
if Elliot still has it here, but I mean, that first appearance on Uncanny X-Men 101, first Dark Phoenix.
Yeah. First Dark Phoenix. That's a good one.
I mean, honestly, it's $40 to $50.
Okay. So everybody out there watching, when we're talking about the Dark Phoenix, let's talk about the movie from June. Okay. Who liked it? Who hated it? Why? If anybody listening or watching would like to chime in on
There's great foot traffic, Cameron. Thank you for asking, though.
Yeah, we are. He's pretty happy as a clam.
New people are coming in, actually.
Yeah, we got a really nice turnout. I don't know if you saw the post on our Instagram, but it's only gotten thicker.
So Dark Phoenix, Donald.
Yeah, Dark Phoenix. It was fun. Marie and I went to see it, and we had a blast, didn't we? Of course, we saw it at the second run theater. It was like $1.50 or $2 when we went to see it, and we had low expectations. But when we went in to see it, I very much enjoyed it. I was like, okay, I can deal with this. I like it. I didn't hate it at all. So yeah,
it's a classic story. Disney will not be able to help themselves. I mean, if you're an X-Men fan, it's a crucial story. And at $40 to $50, oh come on, you got to be joking.
Yeah,
like I mean,
bargain.
And they have a hard on for this story because they keep going back to it. You know what I'm saying? And I was looking for children because I have a potty mouth.
And honestly, too, you have to think about it. You've seen a very large rise in women with superpowers hitting the television screen and the movie screen. And the Dark Phoenix is a true legend. Now, I'd like to stick on the X-Men theme and get your guys' thoughts.
Real quick, since Kevin brought it up, April, Spider-Woman. Just what's your opinion of it?
Best thing ever.
Best thing ever.
Now, which one? Right, Jessica Drew or Julia Carpenter?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
By the way, first appearance, if I recall, Secret Wars number 7.
Jessica. No, the
Get on that, fact checkers.
Carpenter. Yeah. No, he's right. Jessica Drew, though.
Yeah, after the
You gotta watch that character because it's coming.
I know.
Has your stack gotten larger?
Now I know
it's talking about her books, by the way. There's no
section.
Now,
dun, 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 dun,
now another one I'd like to bring up is the comic book Ms. Marvel. Probably want to get number 16 or 17. This is your first cameo, and then to the appearance of Mystique. I'm still seeing this honestly in the $30 range.
Which Mystique do you prefer, by the way?
As far as
the X-Men,
Rebecca Romijn.
I like Rebecca
Hands
Romijn,
down.
but I think her writing was better too. I think,
but I will say we didn't get to see her naked.
I
guys know what I'm saying.
Look,
right?
and Jennifer Lawrence, I think is
Jennifer Lawrence. I think
she's a
that
solid
was
actress.
terrible what happened to her, but it was terrible what happened to her.
But okay, so Jennifer to me, she's a solid actress, but I don't view Mystique as such a whiner. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of really turned me off.
And she should not be leading the X-Men. I'm sorry.
No.
Mystique has no business leading the X-Men. They should have made her another character if they intended on that to take place.
Yeah.
No. Bad Marvel. Bad Fox. Fox Marvel.
Yeah. So we got about 9 minutes left in this hour.
I got
want
about
to take
9 minutes left in my voice.
I want to take this opportunity. This is something you guys may or may not see. I see this being on the Real Short Box all the time. But these guys, and I don't want to point to whom specifically, really like to flex their collection. And really like to flex that collection. Now, Kevin, I know you have an app. It is an outstanding app. I viewed it. Your collection is just great from what I can tell in the app. I want you to talk about one of your favorite books that everyone may know here that, of course, not only has personal value to you, but in the world of comic books is always a high demand comic book.
All right, I'll start first with Fantastic Four #5, the first appearance of Doctor Doom. That is definitely in my top 3 in my collection. It's a beautiful book. Matter of fact,
I almost spit. Can you not say that while I'm drinking? I almost spit my water out. You have the first Doctor Doom?
I don't know who that is.
You know who Doctor Doom is?
No.
Doom does not believe you do not know who Doom is.
I'm sorry.
He speaks in the third person a lot, Doctor
I don't know
Doom.
if this is a little bootleg, but that's what the cover
A
looks
little
like.
higher on the camera.
That's what it looks like.
Oh no, that looks great, Kevin.
I know. I'm
Could
trying.
You pick a smaller
I'm trying.
picture to show them.
I know.
Look,
I'm
Doctor
sorry.
Doom. So explain, Kevin, what the value of Doctor Doom is in the comic book world, because Doctor Doom is a character.
Doctor
that's been around
Doom is
forever.
one of the greatest supervillains of all time. He is unmatched, unparalleled. Doom
Doom is all-knowing.
is all knowing.
Doom became God.
Yes. Now in the movies that have been put out there, unfortunately, he doesn't get his proper due. He hasn't been done correctly yet. Although I hope,
Doom is due.
yeah, hopefully the 4th time, no pun intended, will be the charm when they do a nice
Fantastic
movie.
Four reference.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Which Disney also owns. You know what's interesting? From the Tim Story Fantastic Fours into the Josh Trank Fantastic Four, the story that they covered was almost exactly the same. I thought that was an odd choice, especially in the Trank version, which, by the way, we discussed on a podcast. I personally don't hate that version. I think it was slightly lazy, obviously, but I don't hate that version. I was told it was the worst piece of garbage ever made. Sorry, it was not. It just wasn't. That belongs to Jonah
That
Hex.
Trank.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but it wasn't great.
It didn't move you at all.
No. And you're talking to a guy that enjoyed Steel with Shaquille O'Neal and Richard Brown.
Hey, good luck. All right,
Yeah,
thanks.
thanks for coming.
Sure, thanks.
See, people are saying
That is a happy man
Oh.
walking out the door right now. We are talking
another
about.
buddy of mine's back. in the
We are
house.
talking about a stack of books.
We're gonna
this
have
guy's
a
up with.
on the air live thumb wrestling
What's up,
competition
Doctor?
coming soon.
All right.
He knows it's coming.
So I see another nice little pile of books over here. It's wow. What is it? We have a Spawn number 9 here.
Yeah, we got several spots.
Several.
Yes, we do. One of our favorite.
First who?
Angela.
Angela, yeah.
One of our
I was going to
favorite.
say Angelina Jolie, but that's somebody else.
No, that's something different.
So we did a podcast about our favorite independent comick book villains, and we are big fans of the Violator.
Speaking of which, Angelina Jolie and Hackers, she's great.
Where did that come from?
So it was interesting.
Unnecessary.
What we all kind of mutually agree on with the Violator, by the way, is John Leguizamo was kind of awesome.
That's maybe the only good part of that movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's colorful for its time. I mean,
You're laying on the tracks, and that stupid train just kept running over you, didn't it?
now let's take an opportunity to go back to a question that was brought up earlier. Let's talk about the new Watchmen series and what you kind of might be expecting from it on HBO.
I know we're about 3 or 4 episodes in. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I've heard
I don't know.
some people like it, some people don't like it.
Here's what I heard. I heard that it's some of the best storytelling people have seen in a while, but it can be a little boring at times. So I don't know what that means exactly. I'm a little confused by that, but I guess we'll see. No, check it out.
Kind of the parallel from what I'm hearing. Do you guys remember the movie Dune that was directed by David Lynch back in?
That's been the mid-80s.
Okay, I thought this
He
was
who controls the spice controls the universe.
That's right. I think this was like a really great opportunity. When I was watching this film, I'm like, man, this is a huge project he's undertaking, and I admire the effort that was done. But the reality of the situation is this: once William Hurt jumped into that sci-fi miniseries, what it turns out all Dune needed was some length. you really need something like that to establish a universe. Watchmen alone, just the idea of the alternate history, Richard Nixon still the president of the United States, that is kind of a complex thing that you really need to take time to go through. And I'm kind of the opinion, honestly, when I really like kind of look into how I feel about the Watchmen series, I think that you needed more than a 3 hour and 15-minute film. And I know Zack Snyder did a director's cut, definitely in the 4 hour range. But this whole idea of doing the miniseries is actually quite outstanding. I'd like to thank our cleaning crew off stage.
Technical difficulty.
Really, actually, like that was very efficient. Thank you for running those paper towels in. Yeah, so that's kind of how I feel about it. I think Dune, when they did the miniseries, they got it right. And in many ways, I think Watchmen will also get it right by having a little more length that they can toil with.
Right. And since it's just me, I just want to tell all you people out there that you're beautiful. I love you. I can love you. If you just give me a chance, just give me a little time, I think we can really make this work. You and me, you and you and you and you. I see you out there too, sitting in your chair, thinking about it.
Are you cyber stalking?
No, just talking about this book here. Batman 387. It's a Black Mask appearance. Look at that. Cool, huh? 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 No? Okay. I got a joke for you. Two peanuts were walking down a dark alley when one was assaulted.
You sound like you could use a little additional help. You know what? We're going to take an early break here. We're going to start going into the third hour.
Did you hear about the peanut that went off to work and he said to his wife, "I'll be back in a jiff"?
Jiff peanut butter.
Okay, what was the punchline? Oh, the Jiff. Hey, look, we're going to attend to some things here. We're going to attend to our lovely customers. Guys, we're going to be back roughly at 10 p.m. to continue hour 3.
Yes.
And this is
we're going to keep the live stream running, like we always say. So if you hear something you shouldn't, don't tell anybody.
We'll be back shortly. Please type your questions, and we will be more than happy at this point here
move this over just slightly so you can see Kevin's butt.
Wow.
You know, it
Kevin's
took us
butt.
4 hours to set that shot up.
Wow. Wow. Now that's assault.
HR.
Like a peanut, you got assaulted. We'll be back.
You're an odd duck, sir.
Oh, it's a diet.
He has a wonderfully understanding.
Funny enough, that was the first time I think it's happened here.
So weird.
Thank you, Sean.
Put up the nice ghost burger. You wanted to take one.
Elliot, this is telling you need to lose some butt weight.
Yes. I've already known that.
You can probably not pay for these and
I'm sure my computer still works.
Oh, I know.
No, it's fine.
So Philly shower.
Your desk is going to be falling with and stuff.
It's always a toss up. If I get comfortable
Is it like a
before I
full
actually get a chance.
No.
Ooh,
Yeah.
because it's so comfy. It's like, do I really need clean hair? Iffy. But, oh man. It's impressive. It's really insane. It's impressive. I admire the dedication.
I tried to order coffee today. It's like, oh, we're closing.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't want you thinking like, oh, he makes promises. Yeah, I know he does.
That's
cool. That's cool.
And it's in July. That actually could potentially work. 'Cause I think that's when I'm still on hiatus, probably from work.
So I get
Yeah,
my paper towel.
we have a. It's like
You're gonna
yeah,
need to clean up
do
the
like
desk,
2 months.
figure
I
out what
think
this
that I'll
is,
be
you're
off
online, it's
from
got
work.
all, you know, coke on it.
Oh,
we know.
no, but I should let you know.
So good?
It's like wait.
Yeah,
Is that huge?
Where's,
Yeah, it's good.
No,
We could try to get.
Oh, there we go. How's a laptop?
No, it's kind of the bottom. It's kind of the bottom.
Just my baby's cookie for a minute.
You need another light.
It's working. It's good. And you got it on the floor behind this thing.
I did not get anywhere over there.
No.
I mean, it's like,
Came out
in a
rolling
way,
back
it's
there.
like how,
So if you want me to get some pizza,
some people get really excited about things like Coachella, which I've never wanted to go to because it's never usually music I like, and also I have to either get a campsite or like get a hotel like a year in advance for. It's too much to worry about. It's not, if you're gonna pay money to go to something, make it full of things you like and also indoors for the most part. I think that'd be preferable. That's a nice tree. There you go.
So that's good.
I'm gonna just wipe it down with a Lysol. Close to them. We'll get rid of the skin.
Yeah. I know there's only a few of you watching right now, but we will be back momentarily. And in the meantime, there's this little guy. It's a thumb finger pump.
They're also from
Yeah. But we'll be right back. I promise.
So the little dinosaur and the other one are just kind of living in this place right now. Or... Yeah. Okay. I remember those from the pictures. Yeah. And stabs from like the road trip pictures.
So they're like ants.
And uncles.
Ants and uncles.
Ah,
Oh my God, ants.
Elliot. I got over in here. Yeah, it's over in here too. Yeah. A lot.
Move that box.
Well, this is dripping, so I'm gonna just set those there for now. It doesn't look like it got into the box, so that's good. And this is plastic, so we're good there.
We'll
But
just get the paper. Thank you. I think I got it.
Thank you. Oh,
My sister's asking me to leave tomorrow morning, so that I'm like, can I not leave like at 8 o'clock and it please be a little after that? I know she's gonna be here like, not super early, please. Just very early breakfast. How early? Oof. Yeah, see, I'm probably gonna have to get up before that.
back soon.
like this is beautiful.
Yeah.
My only,
I was bored.
my only like comfort in tomorrow's night, I've got one in the car. I'm actually probably gonna pay for these because Disney tomorrow morning, so I gotta go home and shower and go to sleep.
We have work in the morning.
No, going to Disney
Oh, nice.
with my family.
Oh, beautiful.
Grey's Anatomy, you know.
Are you done with your?
Oh, no.
Oh, thank you, work.
Did you have a pile?
It's
Or
about time.
Well,
You
everybody
wanna
who
put
works
it
on
down
the
so
show,
you don't have to carry it?
in honor of the 350th episode, they gave everybody 4 tickets. And so, everybody on the crew, so.
So remember, you work.
I'll be back with you shortly.
The accounting department. I'm a newbie, so.
You got
Last
it.
season
Do you have
was my
any
second
Disney
season,
stuff?
so.
All right, so you about to go with Everest. You
This
get the third
is-
season, third season.
Well, yeah, well, they are already, I
It
think.
will be in the cartoon boxes
Season 17
right by
Okay,
where
good.
that
I
goes.
guess the idea is they get the 20s tap out.
On the right?
I'm a
I
floor.
just, I mean, I'm only up to
Way
date
back
on it
at
because
the
I
end,
do screenings every
where it says
Thursday,
cartoon.
like in the rehearsal hall, which is right underneath our office. Literally, everybody just goes down there, and sometimes there's not many people in there, and just watch that next episode before they show it on TV. And that's how I'm up to date on things. I kind of stopped watching years ago. And I get a job, and I'm like, I
You
don't
see
need
all
to
the
know what's
time on
happening,
like.
but might as well.
As well.
But it's kind of fun, like when nobody's shooting on the stages, especially like when they're off on location and you can like walk through the stages and walk through like the hospital settings.
Yeah,
and
it's the
stuff.
ABC Prospect, right?
Yeah, and I just take pictures of things.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I'm like, you know, like take a picture of like myself in one of the little examination rooms or sitting on one of the beds, and I'm like, but yeah, I know. No, it's Prospect and Los Feliz.
Yeah, if you go down on Hollywood Boulevard, You just keep
Yeah.
going and going, and they'll turn into a
That's
press.
Yeah, it's like, yep.
And some
I
of the
actually
soaps, like General
saw her.
Hospital.
Yeah, I actually saw her at they shuttled all of us to the location they were shooting at, which was like some country club in Altadena one day a couple weeks ago for the little happy 350. And she was there. I'd never actually seen her in person, so I was like, oh, that's the lady. That's like the queen of us all. It's like she started everything, so
Yeah.
it was neat. I got to have.
All right, everybody listening to this live stream, I'm going to go get the cast here. They are currently busy in makeup. And Nick, I just received your question. We will be addressing it at the top of the third hour. Thank you.
Oh yeah, they got us tickets that are good on any day, like peak value or normal or whatever.
Hey, you can see the new Disney, the new Star Wars.
Oh,
thing.
I went by myself one day and just to see that, and got myself a reservation at the cantina.
Did you have to make a lightsaber?
No, I didn't do that, but I did ride.
They're expensive.
That's like $200. I'm like, nope. I already have a lightsaber.
That thing better be a
Let
real
me skip
lightsaber. I better be able to cut
They're all
the
set.
I already got a lightsaber.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Next
failed
one.
relationship.
So you found a couple then.
Yeah,
That was
I
one of
found
my
like
birthday
different
presents.
ones.
It's awesome.
Just to start out like 1 to 3, 1 to 2.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you
Some
found
single
them.
ones.
Oh, so they're boom. I
Yeah.
didn't know.
And I got a lightsaber.
Cool. I'm glad you found them.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
continue the collection.
Yeah.
it was far from
Really?
it didn't fit his fingers anyway.
Ready?
So I kept it. I like rings. I know. I wondered that. I was like, why do you have this? Your fingers are large.
I
and
did.
would
I
not
got
work for you.
I did. I had to.
But yeah,
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna get these.
Whew. Okay.
All right.
Got a question here at the top of the hour.
So the third and final hour.
Yes. Thanks for sticking with it. My gosh. Third and final hour.
You know, we have to get approval to see if we can do this again sometime.
Oh,
You have
Oh, he said
approval.
yes.
Yes.
You have approval.
I have approval. There we go. There we go.
I'll override. You have approval.
Override. Oh my goodness. When it's all said and done, we want to make sure that Spero's Heroes makes at least $10,000 before we close up shop today.
Well, yes, and I tell you, with 10,000
Come
people
back tomorrow.
walking through here. All right.
Yes, true.
Okay, we're back.
Just open up.
And I'm going to do a little educational speech here after Darren does his little speech.
Do our little intro. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Real Short Box Hour 3. I, of course, am Darren.
I'm Donald.
And I am Supreme Chancellor Kevin.
Now, at the top of the hour here, we're going to kick off a question from Nick. What is an under-the-radar comic that should be made into a TV series or a film? Kevin, I'm going to have you address this first.
Under the radar comic. That could be. Let me see.
Now, before you answer that, I'd like to point out we did a podcast where we were talking about under-the-radar storylines that have gone in mainstream comics, and I feel like that could apply here as well.
You know what? That's another one. Something we like.
Mm.
Resurrection Man would be a cool TV series.
Really? How do you feel about
Phenomenal.
it?
Phenomenal.
Why so?
Okay, so tell them the basic premise of Resurrection Man.
Basically, what's it? Is it Matt Shelby?
Mitch Shelley.
Sorry, Mitch Shelley. Every time he dies, he comes back with a different superpower.
And based upon how he died. So
Based
let's
upon how
say
he died.
if he gets exploded in a bomb somehow, like in a building, he comes back impervious, like his skin, so he can't be blown up.
That way again.
Yeah, but he can drown. You see where we're going then? So then he finds somebody that's a villain and he drowns, and then he's like, then he comes back as like an all liquid character. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, that would be an interesting premise, especially for a TV series,
Mhm.
especially on Amazon TV. My little theory about that.
Mhm.
You have a nice serious television series.
We've been
Resurrection
saying
Man.
it. DC Comics needs to go with Amazon. Marvel and Disney's got their own thing,
Disney Plus.
and I get it.
Hulu.
I get it. DC, you know, they want to do their own streaming and they're doing their own universe, and then they might join Warner Brothers or something. But I just feel like they need a viable platform for that, something that's going to sustain them. And I think that Warner Brothers at this point is too far behind, and they ought to just hand it over to somebody like, you know,
Lionsgate.
the Lionsgate can produce, but they don't have a streaming network.
Right.
To be able to
Oh,
do
yeah,
that. But
for a
Amazon is, I think,
Oh,
is,
okay.
is a solid choice.
Dead Man be another good one.
Hello, welcome.
Dead Man, that'd be another good TV series.
Dead Man would be another one. Yes, I have a story that I would like to talk about here real quick.
Go ahead.
And it's funny because our friend of the podcast, Shant, who's works here occasionally and is a big fan of the shop, he brought this series to my attention, and it is a 7-part series. And it got me pretty emotional, I'm going to say.
Really?
Yeah, I finished it yesterday.
Now, before you get into it, is this series available at Spero's?
You probably could find it in the back in the 50-cent bin someplace, to be honest.
Okay.
But this is called Truth, Red, White, and Black. Okay. Now, this is written by Robert Morales and with art by Kyle Baker. And the reason why this story emanated so strongly with me, I think, is just the times we're in right now and the things that we deal with in life in general. But this has to do with what happens. We've heard of the Tuskegee Airmen.
Yes, Tuskegee Airmen.
Of course.
We've heard of other influential African Americans that fought in the war, particularly World War II. And that's where this takes place, because before they created Steve Rogers as Captain America, they needed to perfect the formula. And how do you do that unless you do experimentation, correct? Well, what better people to experiment on back then, they thought, than African Americans? So that's what this series is about. It's about the government having a whole squad of African American soldiers being experimented upon for the super soldier serum. And you see the ramifications. Some people explode, some people just go crazy, and then you see one particular individual just really shine and how he's glazed over when Steve Rogers appears and, kind of outshines everything. So it's a really powerful story, and it's only a 7-part series. And I think it would make an excellent miniseries or even a movie, to be honest. It's great.
Now, an interesting parallel is that you mentioned that experimentation was very common against the Jews in concentration camps during World War II. So it's kind of, so there is some basis off this.
Right.
This wasn't just dreamt up.
Right. It just parallel against that as well.
And like you said, African Americans in real life were experimented on.
Well, it even has Sammy, goodbye. Thank you for
care.
coming. Take care. Tell your parents I said hello. Enjoy Star Wars Land. Just going to Disneyland tomorrow.
And I'm sorry,
And you're not.
on this podcast, if you're fans, we cannot discuss Black Americans or African Americans without mentioning a personal favorite of Donald's, the issue of Superman where Lois Lane becomes a Black woman.
Yes, I Am Curious Black was the issue.
Around the 70s.
Yeah, and it had Lois Lane. She turned herself into a Black woman through a scientific experiment, and it showed the differences that she had to endure as a Black woman or as African American versus as a white woman in that time.
In the segregated, America.
And her
yes.
understanding and learning from that perspective, and how through her learning we all could learn and appreciate. And it's a very powerful story, and one I've came to very much love.
And that cover is outstanding.
Yes,
It
it literally says "I am curious" and then in parentheses Black.
It's very rare that you will find a comic book that has a cover that is that powerful, in the sense that it really sums up the entire book just through that cover.
It's issue 90, right? Lois Lane, Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane, issue 90, I believe is the issue. It's from the 70s.
Yeah. So what I'd like to do at this point, if it's all right, since we have some new viewers here on the live stream, we've done over 125 episodes at this point of the Real Short Box, and we have a lot of fond memories of interesting podcasts. Kevin, I'm going to ask you right off the bat, what podcast would you recommend our new listeners this evening to maybe go check out to really get a flavor of what it is we do?
Well, one I can think of in the back would be the Malibu Comics pods. Actually, 2 of them. I would say the history, the history Malibu Comics pod, and also the one where we actually interviewed 2 of the creators.
Now, by chance, it accidentally became very popular because I forgot to put comics in the title, and I just put the history of Malibu. So I think a lot of people from Southern California were very
Took it the wrong way.
curious and looked it up. And then we actually got some good comments and some good feedback based upon that. People actually stumbled across this.
And that's where we're able to link up with the creators.
And would you guys mind, because Donald, you are the biggest Malibu Comics fan that I personally know. Could you kind of give a little backstory as to what Malibu Comics actually is?
Well, Malibu Comics was Dave Olbrich and Jesus. Yes, and Jesus is love child. So basically, Dave said to Jesus, "Let's create this comic book company."
And then there was comics.
And then there was
there were comics.
But no, they created this comic book company, and they created Malibu Comics, and they took
Comics were good.
series
Yes.
from Senator Press, I believe was the defunct comic book series that you could take characters from. It was what do you call it? Open source or
He created graphic novels.
so they took those characters and they created a series called The Protectors. Had Amazing Man and
Chris Ohm, that's the other gentleman.
Chris Holm, yes. My apologies, Chris. Jesus. No, you're not Jesus, but
Well, yeah, he had the Jesus beard.
just some people
Jesus
could be. I don't know.
Well, no, and what's kind of fascinating, and you're gonna have to listen to the pod because we can't tell it as well as they did. But do you remember, like in the '90s, Malibu Comics at one point was outselling DC?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Crazy.
They replaced DC as one of the
Number
top sellers of comic books in the '90s, which is amazing. Absolutely
But
phenomenal.
promise to be careful.
They disappeared because Marvel bought them and then just shelved them almost immediately.
Which, by the way, some of those comics could easily be turned into TV shows.
Absolutely.
Now, Donald, is there a podcast in particular that you recall that you would like to say that our audience now should definitely be watching?
I'm pretty fond of our first one, which was the History of Eclipse Comics. It was me, and at the time, Jarrett was the third person, and Kevin, and we talked about just the history of Eclipse, and it was us just getting our bearings, and pretty much trying to feel out what we wanted the podcast to be about and what we wanted to do. So that was pretty cool. We got a question here. Ultraviolet wants to know more Blue Beetle soon. Yes.
In which form would you like it?
I think you're talking, and I hope you're talking about the web series of Blue Beetle Tech Cord Returns, which I happen to do. I don't know if you heard about it or not. But yes, we did a season 1, a 2, and a 3. And season 4 has already been shot. It's in the can. We're just in the editing bay working on that. We've got the first couple episodes done. So since I've got you here, my question to you is, should I air the first episode now, or should I wait until I get the whole season finished and then air it all at once?
Yeah, and please let
me know.
Get back to us on that for sure. I'll tell you, I wanted to share with you guys one of the very first podcasts that I recorded with you. It was our 2-part episode of the history of Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah. That was fun.
Now, what was really kind of fascinating is that you originally had brought me on because I had done stunt work on the movie. But the reality of the situation is that it takes a long time before we get into that story, because Indiana Jones is far more historically interesting, how it was inspired and what it was based off of. And I told you guys after we recorded that podcast, which will separate us from other podcasts, no one was talking about serials and how they very much influenced comic books.
Yeah, we did a really nice one on the history of the Shadow too. I felt that was a really nice poll.
Yeah, like like serials are a big deal, and I'm going to reveal a secret
Blueberry,
right
Count
now.
Chocula.
I'm going to reveal something right now that is a little secret. Kevin is Serial Man.
I'm my Serial Man.
Just talk in your serial voice.
Oh, you mean like sing? Like
that guy.
Okay, let me try again.
So let's talk
On
about
the next
let's say-
podcast, we're talking to.
Let's say, for example, we were going to come back and do another Spero's After Dark. How would you be doing that?
Come right now, see the Spero's Heroes for your latest comic. Something like that.
You sound more like a gangster there. You're drunk.
On the next,
He's been hitting a sauce.
On the
all
next-
night.
The Edward G. Robinson, you know?
tune in next week to see if Flash Gordon falls off the cliff. And what was interesting is like,
Those are nuts. Those old Flash Gordon serials.
oh yeah,
They used to play those, and I don't know if they still do, but they were playing them at the New Beverly before each kids matinee on Saturdays. The New Beverly Cinema Quentin Tarantino owns, and he would play a kids matinee for it was like $4 or $5. So I'd go to them because they played like The Last Starfighter and Inner Space and like all the great like 80s sci-fi awesomeness that I loved as a kid. And then he played in order. He played all the Flash Gordon serials.
Wow.
And you'd have to watch the whole. You'd have to come to every one of them to catch the whole thing. It was really cool to see on the big screen.
What about Never Ending Story?
That was on there. Yeah.
That was
And you know what's kind of interesting is like this is one of those rare moments that you think you know it all, but I'll be honest with you guys, we actually do a ton of research before we come on here. It might not seem like it, but if you're going to do a history pod, you absolutely. I'm glad you're agreeing with me because you've seen me do the research. My lovely.
We did an 8-part Marvel pod.
Eight. Yeah.
8 parts.
And it was like
8 episodes.
45 minutes each episode or something
We
like
broke
that.
it down.
So almost 6 hours worth of podcasts just on Marvel comics and their history alone, from Timely to Atlas to Marvel, just to up till now.
So here's your answer from Ultraviolet. Would probably be best released weekly so you can attract more viewers over the course of season 4. We have a producer in the audience as well.
Weekly, okay.
Now I'm telling you weekly, and it could almost, and you know what your web series almost feels like? It feels like a cereal.
That's what we all.
That's what he said.
We'll just have him do it. See?
Yeah,
No, I'm not having him do that.
This is outstanding stuff. We having a good time tonight, everybody.
Hey.
Once again, I'd like to take a moment to remind all of you, we are at
Oh, my
Spero's Heroes Live in Canoga Park.
After dark.
Doing a Spero's After Dark sale. I don't know
It is
if
after 10
if
p.m.
our sale list is handy that you had written out. I don't know if it's handy, but I think we have less than 1 hour left, folks.
Yeah, you guys got
We have
40
less
minutes
than
to
1
get your
hour.
butts in here.
So, Kevin, why don't you go ahead and read all
I'll
the
read off
specials.
again. Spero's After Dark sale. Wall books just in short boxes, 10% off. eBay store items,
Thank you.
20% off. Complete comic book sets, 25% off. Just in lawn boxes, 30% off after purchase of $15 or more. And last but not least, graphic novel and the big fat omnibuses, 40% off. That's where you get the powerful Godfather discount. Come before it's too late.
And nothing makes us happier than seeing a stack of books exit the building because let's be real here.
And we've already seen stacks
Book-
of
books-
in the building.
Book reading, and not just comic books, book reading in general is slowly becoming a thing of the past. You're starting to
So
see people
sad.
get into their Kindles. Honestly, it hurts my eyes. I can't do it.
It's funny. Like, did you see that video of the baby where they handed the baby a book and the baby kept trying to like flip the page with its finger
Really?
like an iPad?
Wow.
Yeah.
So they've already been conditioned from the crib
Oh,
to
that's-
do that.
Have you not
That's
seen
terrible.
any child with their parents' cell phone?
That's true.
Or those the Kindles, or not Kindles, the Fire tablets that they have now for kids that are like basically
Fire
shatterproof.
tablets?
Yeah, from Amazon, the Fire tablets.
Oh. I know
Come on,
there
get
is.
with it,
Oh,
Kevin.
sorry.
I will tell you this right now, too. And honestly, like, don't feel bad about buying the books. I mean, there was an interesting article in BBC
You'd be out of a job if you
back
did.
in 2017.
True.
With as their carbon emissions rose, so did their plant life. So there are more trees out there now. So don't feel bad about buying those books. And honestly, like I said, my eyes are killing me as I read those Kindles. It's too bright. If you get up like this, no.
See,
Now,
it's
I'm
no,
not,
thank
I'm
special
not,
about
I'm
those
not, I'm not
books.
going to diss on like that type of technology, so to speak. As far as like, there's a time and place for that, and I'll give an example. I travel a lot, so I'm on a plane, and I still have a couple trade paperbacks that I bring with me.
Sure.
As you should.
Those only last so long, and then I read through them. If you're on a 6 or 10 hour flight, I was on a 12-hour flight or something to China. It was ridiculously long, and I ran out of books to read. Thankfully, I had the foresight to download a couple stories onto my tablet, my Fire tablet, and I was able to, then read some stuff and entertain myself. And it was actually kind of cool in a way, because if you get the certain type of program, I can't remember the name of it, but it'll move the panels for you. Like it'll go, you're reading one and then you tap and then it goes zoom, right
It's just
down
a
to the
natural
next panel
transition.
and then over to the other. So there's like an action to it almost. So it's really cool. And that I like about it. And it also, if the story is good enough, I want to go out and buy and collect and own the book, the actual physical copy. So there's good and bad to that. Don't think that you shouldn't have a tablet and read comics digitally. You certainly can, but also don't discredit the actual physical books, because that's the main source and that's where the love really is.
No, and look, I prefer that book because the digital comics we read, and we're very grateful on our podcast. We have interviewed great comic artists, and most of the time we've had to be introduced to their art through digital comics. Absolutely, we've had we did a history of women you know, that in the comic book world artistically, we had Stacy Pincinot on, who I've known a couple of years. That it had a really like cool book that was very, you know, heavily inspired by, you know, off of some early Iron Man drawings, at least, you know, from what I could tell. But you know, we have to view these through there, you know, and it's something, it takes some time to get used to. I want that hard book. And sorry, I mean, anyone who says they don't sniff the newsprint is lying to you. This is just how this
Godfather
works.
himself sniffs the newsprint.
This is how it works.
Yep.
Now, would you prefer the page, the pages if they're white or if they're a little yellow? Which better to sniff? I mean,
Oh my goodness! I sniff every Silver Age book that comes into the
does.
store.
One time for Halloween, I dressed up as a Silver Age comic, and he chased me around for half an hour trying to smell me. I was like, Elliot, no.
Yes, we are in the Temple of Comics. It's interesting, like, we see definitely a good amount of people in front of us now, but back there with the thick
Oh, there's a
walls,
ton of
it is
people.
jam-packed
people.
right now.
Quick to answer a couple questions that we see here. Vintage Ultra, you said, what about Paper Girls? Paper Girls is a series, would be phenomenal. I love this, the like supernatural, almost scientific element to it. The whole idea of like almost a gang of girls getting involved in this and stuff. It's something very Stranger Things-esque that I feel that could very easily transfer over into a regular series. So yes, very good suggestion on that.
Morning Glories.
Morning Glories also, yeah. And to Ultra Violent.
Girls by who?
Thank you. I'm glad you love the series. In fact, hit me up on email us the Real Short Box. What's our email? It's the realshortbox.com or something. And I figured it out.
Also, too,
Terrible at that stuff.
you know, I'd like to also take a break once again here
Wait,
in our
I got
third
it.
hour.
I got
we,
the
we
email.
can't. Okay, here we go.
I got
Gotta
the
make
email.
sure the email comes
Wait
out.
for it. Wait for it.
Yep.
It is realshortbox@gmail.com. There's no space. It just says realshortbox@gmail.com. Hit me up on there and remind me we had this conversation, and I can send you the link once I get it up. I got to talk to my editor, but once I get it up, I can send you the link to the first episode of season 4 of the Blue Beetle.
And
Since
let's
you're such a mega fan, I appreciate that very much.
And let's take a moment to take a quick pause to recognize here Spero's After Dark would not be possible with, of course, the godfather of comics himself, Mr. Elliot Spero. And we also need to take a moment to acknowledge his great staff, which is busy helping a multitude of people right now. A plethora of people are being helped by this outstanding staff. Thank you, of course. And of course,
and anybody out there in the shop, if you have questions, please feel free. Ask anybody working here. Even ask us.
Now's the time.
You can interrupt us. We don't mind. It's okay.
The live
and
audience.
of course, right in front of us are our lovely ladies that are the tech crew this evening. Of
Yes.
course, we can't thank them enough for that. All right, so you know it's time, you know, thinking about what we really can dig into here. Now, we have a very advanced knowledge of comics, if I do absolutely not humbly say so myself. And you know, Kevin, you have been collecting a multitude of comics. I've seen
Sound
it
like
in
Donald.
your app. Donald's physical collection.
ridiculous.
I've seen Donald's physical collection. I've
This
seen
comic's
your
in his
app collection.
bathroom. Is that crazy?
It's true.
Dude,
Literally,
okay.
we're not
yeah,
joking.
And speaking of comics in your bathroom,
Dry your hands on them.
Donald, why don't you take a moment to talk about Super Dickory?
Super Dickory. All right. For those that don't know, Super Dickory is a definition of Superman being a dick on the covers of comics. Now, it could be simple as there's an issue of Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, where him and Aquaman are in the desert. Jimmy Olsen and Aquaman, they're on the ground in the sand, and he's reaching up to Superman, and he's like, "Please, Superman, we're dying of thirst." And Superman's like, "Nope." And he's holding this big ass pitcher of water. What a dick, right? Another one is where everybody's on the streets of Metropolis, and they're standing around a fire hydrant that's spurting water, and Superman is standing there with his arms crossed like this. And I think it's Lois that's saying, "Please, Superman, we're all dying of thirst. We just need water." And he's like, "Nobody gets a drop." And I'm like, what a dick. And then there's another one, I shit you not, where it is Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane. He is holding, like snapping the air tube of Lois Lane in space. And she's like, "Why would you do this?" And he's like smiling, and just cutting off her air supply. And I'm like, I must own this. So yeah, I have a pretty good collection. In fact, it's on, I have a rotating bathroom wall collection of stories. So if people are taking a poop, they have something exciting to look at. And
So yeah, Blue Beetle in there too.
I always throw a Blue Beetle in there, yeah. And that's occasionally some of the stores is just a whole wall of Super Dickory.
You know, they say in Los Angeles, by the way, with no traffic on the road, such as right now, you can get anywhere in 35 minutes. You have 35 minutes to get down here. And what do you ask is being held right now? I'm sorry. I just have to smile every time I see it. First appearance of Black Panther. The Black Panther. This is not a joke. This is an original print. This is the original print, first appearance of Black Panther.
And what is the retail price, sir?
The retail price, a lot. And in terms of not what's being sold here, but generally will go for, depending on the condition of it, could go for thousands upon thousands. But we have a copy of this right here. And I do not want to share the retail price necessarily because that is not my job. My job is to tell you that this is available for you if you'd like to come down and take a look at it. This is a really, really awesome book. And, if you don't own this, and I know one of you guys must own it.
Well, we both do.
Yeah.
They just say it's so matter of
One of you guys,
fact.
we both do.
Yes. And of course, this one
Sometimes you just put catch with them.
This is also in the store. This is a personal favorite of the show, and definitely all of us can say the very first appearance of Silver Surfer and Galactus. Norman Rad, the Silver Surfer and Galactus, in his beautiful fun magnet helmet and all. Okay. Definitely, guys, you want to make sure to get down here as quickly as you can.
These guys follow the advice. They're here. They just got in there, so they know.
These are heavyweight issues, guys.
Half an hour, dig in.
These are heavyweight issues. Thank you, Elliot. I would go roll back through this. Yeah.
You can't see my
You just
beautiful
want to touch
face.
me. I get it.
God.
I get it.
Cut down my face.
It's all good. So anyway, man,
What's with the goofy glasses?
What are you talking about? I'm educating. When I'm educating, I'm wearing my professor glasses.
Oh, I see.
what exactly are you educating on?
Comics, sir.
Comics, yes, lots of comics.
Professor
Comics.
Don, like you said.
Exactly.
Yeah, these comics. Now,
This is what I do when I talk on the podcast. I don't know. You guys don't know that, but I wear these when we discuss comics.
Yeah, it's true. You know what? This is probably might be the first time in this configuration they've seen us live.
yeah, and once again,
I think so.
you know, it's really outstanding too. We do wonderful history pods, and one of our most
My favorites.
most popular history pods. And look, we're doing information here that not many people are sharing.
No.
We did a history of EC comics, and it is
Yes,
outstanding.
that one's fun. Definitely check that one out. And also coming soon, history of cross-gen comics. They were only around for like 5 years, guys, but their history is rich. Trust me. So it's also a fun one.
You know,
And Ultraviolet, thank you so much as well. We'll touch base soon.
And you know, it's also really great. As I was featuring those Fantastic Four comics, Fantastic Four, that property was just picked up by Disney. So you and I both know that they're going to reconfigure
As
this universe.
soon as they
Yes.
announced the Fox Disney merger, those books went through the roof. Those books were $100 to $200.
Did your boy Ken the Conqueror technically debut in there as well?
Yeah, King the Conqueror appeared in Fantastic Four as well. But his first appearance as King was actually an Avengers issue.
Right,
I think
that's
it was
Rama Tut.
issue 9 or 8.
I think it was like Rama Tut, though.
It was either 8 or 9. Wonder Man was the other one. His first appearance was in Avengers 2, either 8. I think it was 9 for Wonder Man, 8 for Kang. Kang first appeared as Rama Tut in Fantastic Four. I want to say he did 12 or 22, one of those issues, but I can't quite remember in my mind.
Now, what's interesting is we have been talking a lot about upcoming projects that could be moving in the world. We talk about modern comics. We've received really good questions from people, but we are in the temple of back issues here. Okay,
Over 300,000.
So, Kevin, I want to take this opportunity to
Nuts,
ask you
just nuts.
first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have to keep in mind there's a long history of comic book films at this point. Is there I don't want to call it your personal favorite because that's a really difficult thing to kind of put you on the spot. But how about a great comic book film that exists somewhere in the history lexicon of comic book films that you were very, very has a personal meaning to you?
The first one I could think off the top of my head would be Spider-Man 2.
Oh, you stole mine.
And by the way, let me be very specific. The Sam Raimi 2004 Spider-Man 2.
I think the most exciting part of that movie to me was the tentacles when they came to life when it was on the operating table.
That was awesome.
And the epic
They're
Sam
alive.
Raimi-esque
Yes.
camera point of view thing that they did with the tentacles attacking everybody and making it. He made that a horrific horror scene. It was just blew my mind. I
Also,
loved it
the
so
character
much.
of Dr. Octopus, you saw his humanity.
And Derek, when you watch this later, because I know you're going to watch it later, you can agree with me on that scene being amazing.
Donald, I mean, you and I had an opportunity to be assistant directors with Sam Raimi. And I'll tell you right off the bat, Sam Raimi is legit. This man understands his craft backwards and forwards. And best thing that you guys mentioned about Spider-Man 2, he's a true Spider-Man fan. Like, this is not just some schmo that they pulled out and said, you know, because his big movie before this, or not big movie necessarily, but the movie right before this was The Gift, which is just, you know, another movie, right?
Right.
But they talked to him and they said, this is our guy going forward. This is the man we have to go with, because, I mean, and you see it on set of Black Giandola. This guy, he just knows everything.
We both worked with Sam Raimi on a short film for the Make a Film Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that helps kids that are not that are in dire straits. They're not doing well health-wise.
Oh, Thunderbolt.
And helping them visualize and conceptualize their dream in a film project. And we both worked on that with Sam Raimi and a few other people too.
In case you're wondering, we just pulled Thunderbolt off
It might sell tonight. I see a gentleman.
Did you see the thing earlier? My whole spiel on that book, the Disney Plus and everything.
Do you feel the power of this book?
10% off.
Does your wallet want to purchase this book?
Look, and let me tell you something. If you think I'm full of it, right here on my own collection, I have it.
Ta-da!
Now, quite literally, I thought you're going to point to your shirt, not today.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's weird. We all love Spider-Man 2, so naturally, we're not getting a lot of variety here as far as, like, you know, some of our personal...
Another underrated one, the first Blade movie.
Oh, it was directed by Stephen Norrington.
The guy who put Sean Connery into retirement, yes.
No, look, that first Blade movie, you have to bear in mind, this is 1998 we're talking about. And Marvel, their philosophy at their core with filmmaking was they did not want to tackle movies really until CGI technology ended up, you know, getting up to snuff. But that movie had like a great energy to it. And little known fact, Wesley Snipes is a true trained actor and a true martial artist.
And it shows.
Yes. And I mean, honestly, like Wesley Snipes had disappeared a little in my lexicon. And then Blade, I was just like, wow, what a great mixture of comic bookiness as well as horror and action.
I like Blade. I prefer Blade 2, but I like Blade.
Blade 2 is outstanding.
Now, they're different.
Directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Yes, absolutely.
You definitely see his style. Matter of fact, Guillermo del Toro's good about it. You see his style.
Yeah. Did you watch The Strain?
Yes.
Yeah. I actually watched the first 6 episodes, but I need to go back through, rewatch them, and catch up. I had a lot of fun with it when I was watching it.
Now, another thing that I know, Donald, you know, you are absolutely in love with. We're talking about Legends of Tomorrow post season 1. You just cannot get enough of it. I mean, the fascination of just
F season 1. Don't watch it. Skip it. Go to season 2. It's amazing. Season 2, season 3, season 4. Great. Legends of Tomorrow. Do you watch it? No? You should watch it. We just might not know.
North of season 1. North of season 1.
Don't watch season 1. Watch season 2. It's a lot. If you like superheroes, it's fun. It's like a time travel romp with superheroes. It's great. Highly recommend.
Another one, guys. X-Men 2 from 2003.
Oh, X-Men United.
That opening sequence with Nightcrawler is amazing.
That is, yeah, you're right. That is a phenomenal. Alan Cummings, I'm sorry he didn't come back, but he was phenomenal in the role.
Should have paid the man.
Probably, if I was going to go with a comic book story, I don't tend to go with the more popular ones. I'm going to go with Tank Girl.
Tank Girl.
Tank Girl, for me, Lori Petty, she defined the role perfectly. She took on the persona of the character, and it was just to get this quirky comic book series that was so off the wall and unknown to be on the big screen like that. I loved the 90s. The Phantom with Billy Zane, loved it. Absolutely loved it. I thought it was great. I still watch it almost annually. It's one of my favorites.
Good question there from Brent. What's the next comic book movie we are all looking forward to?
The next comic book movie we are all looking forward to.
I mentioned earlier in the pod, I want to see Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness because I know it's probably going to possibly tie in the X-Men and Fantastic Four. That's probably how they're going to come in. What about you?
Vintage Ultra. Funny you should speak about that.
What
I
about
just
you,
picked
Darren?
up in the store here.
1 second.
Claw.
Now,
So-
Brent, to answer
so-
your question,
Right in that realm, sir. Or
Brent, to
ma'am,
answer your question,
whoever.
I'm kind of still trying to feel out. I haven't seen enough to really tickle my fancy yet, but I'm gonna have to go with Wonder Woman 1984, just based on the fact that the original Wonder Woman film was a strong showing. Personal dislike: I thought the battle with Ares was unnecessary, a CGI fest.
Yeah,
but I'm
terrible.
going to say Wonder Woman 1984 is definitely something I want to see, and it's mostly based off of Reputation, and it's taking a long time to make it, which means they're actually thinking it through.
And two more. They'll have two relatable villains this time around: Maxwell Lord and Cheetah.
What did you say? What you were looking forward to?
As mentioned earlier, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
I'm gonna go with probably Aquaman 2. Might be a popular one, depending on who it is. But I'll tell you what, I wasn't expecting anything out of the first Aquaman, and I had a blast. I had a lot of fun. It was just, it's not like this is very cerebral. I got to think really hard. It's just a fun popcorn flick. A lot of action. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it a lot.
And a quick little rewind. One of my personal favorite comic book movies, and a lot of this has to do with my dad and I had a lot in common with this film, especially the soundtrack. I really, as a child of the 90s, I really liked The Crow. The Crow was written by an artist from Detroit, which is very interesting. There's a lot of references. You have a character named T-Bird, a Ford Thunderbird, That is a film that I really saw the director's hand heavily involved. Alex Proyas, a genius when it comes, Australian, right? This is a guy who he may have made two of the greatest comic book films I've ever seen, between The Crow and Dark City. This guy just has
Dark City.
This visual understanding. And it's funny. A friend of the show,
2 DVDs
had told us.
Cut.
Yeah, I have an autograph on mine. So I was going to say,
I have the director sitting in my apartment right now.
All right, that's disturbing.
That's kind of gay. Anyway, so the way I kind of see this is that the way I kind of see this is with The Crow. Someone had pointed out to me they disliked a lot of the script, and after I isolated and heard the dialogue and things like that, I saw their point. The problem is the energy of this film. And look, this soundtrack is off the hook. We're talking about the Jesus and Mary chain. We're talking about 9 Inch Nails. We're talking about it's just such a random soundtrack, and it was so good. In fact, the Crow soundtrack is so good. The sequel, which was horrible, even had an outstanding soundtrack to it. It's really rare that you see a soundtrack really mesh. And Spider-Man
pushing back then, though, the soundtrack.
No, Batman Forever
when they were good.
had a good soundtrack.
I will say that Kiss from a Rose didn't quite fit in that soundtrack.
Still a good song.
It's only because my friend Derek, and you know who you are, Derek from Ohio, used to play that song every night before you went to bed. And I know because I used to stay over at your place, and I had to hear that song every night before bed. You would sing it to yourself. It's the weirdest thing. Dude.
Also, Smashing Pumpkins song that was used for the Watchmen.
I hope your daughter's watching this.
That Smashing Pumpkins song that was used in Batman and Robin, that was also used for the Watchmen trailer. The beginning of the end.
Great.
But I'm going to bring this stuff. I'm going to bring this all together because Spider-Man 2 had good songs. It really elevated that film, especially Train, Ordinary, what an outstanding song.
We got another question here. It says, what is your favorite comic book turned video game?
Ooh.
That's actually a really good question. It was a comic book and then it got turned into a video game. I'm probably... Jeez, if it's comic book character, I did really enjoy at the time Phantom 2040 for the Sega Genesis. I thought it was a lot of fun as a game, and I loved the cartoon that was also at the time when they came out with the cartoon. They came out with the comic, so it was a cartoon comic,
in my head now.
and then they made the game.
I'm going to go with the...
Don't keep this on Nintendo.
Man, this is tough because it's like, I want to say Marvel versus Capcom, but in reality, the X-Men arcade game was a game changer.
We are X-Men.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
I mean, you know, for those of us that are old
like somebody
enough
stuttering.
to have been hanging out in arcades, that
Those are the good old days.
You know how long that line was to play that X-Men game. I mean, it was
That and
absurd.
those first two Mortal Kombat games.
By the way, you're looking at the second place in the air hockey championship.
Huh.
Kevin, do you have
Throwing that out
something that was a comic book turned into a video game?
Yeah, I was like, you guys
Gosh, I have to think about that.
never thought.
I know of recently, what was that one? DC versus the Mortal Kombat characters.
Oh yeah.
That was fun.
What is that?
It's basically DC versus Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, but they call it something.
Call it something
DC
else.
something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, also, there's also this where the DC characters just going at it.
Dude, do you have a
Mortal Kombat
favorite
stuff,
Mortal
that was fun.
Kombat character, Kevin?
You know, I do like Shang Tsung, and I also like the reptile character.
But as far as if you were to play Mortal Kombat, who do you think is your go-to to win at all times?
It'd be a mixture of probably Scorpion. Yeah, Scorpion or Reptile. One of those two.
Come here!
Yeah,
Is what I say to all those books on the wall. Come here!
People literally are doing that.
Get in my hands. Man, you know it's interesting. Like, I was really good with Cyrax.
Really?
Because
the robot?
Yeah, because you got to have when he throws that net. Just the pure spread of that net is unfair in many respects if you know how to do it.
It reminds me of Street Fighter with E Honda. You know, you get that hand.
E Honda, yes, the quick.
Yeah,
That's right. Oh, do you see how that looks on camera?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what it looks. That's what it looks like.
You know, now it's a stunt because see
Actually,
that
no.
red line right there?
Some
Looks
better
like
than
I'm chopping
Blanca.
Blanca.
Yeah,
Blanca's
what's
dangerous.
executing people because it's a cheating way. If you time it right, just keep.
Blanca is dangerous,
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
talking about that roll that he
That
does.
roll
Oh
does
my
too.
god!
Blanca's
Yes.
awesome.
That's very interesting. It's interesting, Kevin. There's a lot of extra space that we have on our podcast that never makes the final cut. We literally talk about anything and everything you could possibly imagine. It was a very deep philosophical conversations. I'm not going to share any of those, but maybe when we do our little outtakes, I think that's something that we should be including.
I get back to your favorite wrestlers again. Wrestling villains.
Oh my gosh, I do. The best hero is Bret the Hitman Hart. I'm sorry, the pink and black attack. That's the way that I got to go with him. I'm sorry, this guy is just he's a true in-ring entertainer.
Yeah, he was you know, the excellence of execution.
And he was straight-laced. He was not a big personality,
No.
but you couldn't help but watch him.
Thing is, he was a great technical wrestler.
And no, but you're about Steve Borden, the Stinger from Venice Beach, California.
Yes, I always enjoyed him. You know, at first I liked his old tag team partner, Ultimate Warrior, but Sting. You know, when I got to start watching WCW, yeah, this guy I actually like him better. I
But
like
he was not called the Ultimate Warrior. What was he called?
he was called Rock, not the Rock, but just Rock.
Rock.
And then when he left, he became the Dingo Warrior, and then became the Ultimate Warrior when he got to WWF. There you go.
This guy, you talk about, we can cover this in the podcast. He had the most perplexing wrestling promos. And a promo, by the way, is when a wrestler stands up and just essentially promotes themselves pre-match. It's all hype.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
tells you what he's gonna do in the match and so forth and so
It's
on.
kind of like why Monday Night Raw never has a real match. It just has a build up to a match, you know, and that's what's kind of interesting.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that.
Dude, those promos were ridiculous.
Oh, they're great. I mean, him and like Macho Man was other guys that love his promos.
And like we said, what a random turn of events Ultimate Warrior had is he became a motivational speaker of the very conspiratorial right wing. It was bizarre. I mean, you could put him and Alex Jones.
And
in
he
the same
changed.
room
And he
together
changed his name legally.
to Warrior.
That's right.
And it's always going to creep me out how he legitimately went on Monday Night Raw the night before he died. That is going to creep me out for an eternity.
Pretty crazy.
Why would you Sting? There's just such a branch that goes, you know, once you get into Sting. Let's see if we have any more questions here. Here we go. Conan Call Red Sonja.
That's a Donald tally. That's he loves.
Okay, I could answer this, but I want you to go first, of course. Personally, if you're going for pure movies, my friend, Red Sonja, I'm sorry, Red Sonja's a dud. Call's not bad. It's just severely dated. It's easily Conan the Barbarian, directed by John Milius, written by Oliver Stone.
We're still waiting for that third Conan movie.
You know, it's funny. I had a teacher of mine. He was a geometry teacher back in high school, and he said there is a moment in that film that he wanted me to show a scene from, because I was picking scenes from Conan the Barbarian for my geometry presentation. I don't remember why it's here or there. Just film clips take up time. I don't understand geometry. So what's going to happen later, man? what I did is I kind of looked at Conan the Barbarian, and he said, you know what scene you should show because it would make all the ladies uncomfortable. Like, what's that? When James Earl Jones stands and just points to that woman, and she jumps off the ledge, and he's like, now that's power. And it's just there's these,
especially with that deep resonant James Earl Jones voice.
Look, Conan the Barbarian has a lot more philosophical goodies there than I think people would care to admit. There are moments that are extraordinarily long, and Basil Polidori.
Yeah,
just
here's
had
the
a
Conan
brilliant
lover right
score.
here.
Okay, so
That's
here
true.
we are right here.
I have officially the entire collection of Conan the Barbarian.
And I helped you complete that
all
collection.
275
I'll be
issues.
returning
plus,
shortly.
annuals.
Please get into those.
And I did help you complete that collection.
Yes, you
Especially
did.
that last
You
issue.
did. Got me the last issue. CGC graded actually. I just want to go over a little bit real quick about Artful Joe. He's a friend of the shop here at
Did he leave
Spero's
it? Is he
Heroes.
still here?
He left, but he left his books. He does his artwork that's just phenomenal, guys. This is a Spider-Gwen. Look at this. I mean, that's just beautiful, right? He did that.
Very detailed.
He did another Spider-Gwen here. Look at this one. I mean, come on. Isn't that beautiful?
X23.
Okay, here we go. X23. How cool is that? And then the last one here.
Defenders.
This is the Defenders. Guys, for the artwork that he's doing and the time he's putting in, this book here, he only wants $80 for this artwork. It's just beautiful. So if you get a chance, you ever come by the shop, Spero's Heroes here in Canoga Park, please look him up. He's great.
Yes, we're talking about our guy, Mr. Artful.
Yes. Yeah, we're presenting the books that he just recently.
Look, and let's just be real. When it comes to pricing, there's nothing comparable. I mean, you ask, why would I pay whatever I pay for a comic book cover? Guys, do you realize every single day somebody is buying a sculpture in New York City of a golden toilet for $50,000? I'm just going to point this out. This is reality.
And we only have about 10 minutes left, a little over 10 minutes. If we can, let's throw some questions out to some people if they want to ask some questions. So anybody watching online
Or even out in the crowd.
or
in the
live,
gallery, yeah.
live here in the shop, anybody want to ask us a question about pretty much anything comic book related?
You, sir, we're
Happy to
wearing
do
a
it.
t-shirt with the pink.
Oh, it's Mew from Pokemon.
Oh, the Pokemon.
I have to
Hey,
give you stamp your
Hey, guys, where are you driving in from, by the way?
I'm coming from Pacoima.
Pacoima.
Oh, really?
Look at
That's
that.
great.
You see that? We got people driving from Pacoima.
Look, Pacoima's relatively close, but
Ventura
it ain't
County.
around the block.
No, I'm saying, but even Ventura. Someone from CB Valley's here. Really? Yeah.
Wow. I should have asked him to pick me a Firehouse sub up. I mean, that's really some outstanding stuff right
They
there.
do have Firehouse subs in North Hollywood now.
And they also have one next to that giant gym over in what do you call it? Van Nuys / Sherman Oaks. Basically,
Oh, wow. They're popping up everywhere.
What's up, big man?
Favorite Green Lantern?
Oh.
The character, which is our favorite. That's going to be an easy one for me. It'd be Kyle Rayner.
Hal Jordan.
Kyle Rayner, because that's the guy I grew up loving, and that storyline with Hal Jordan losing his mind was one of the best storylines. Like, I grew up in the time where Green Lantern went insane, Batman got broken, and Superman died. You know what I mean? How could you not love that stuff?
A visual that I'm seeing right now, and this is so impressive to me. Do you realize I see folks here that have been here since 8 o'clock?
Oh,
So-
I see people who were here before 8 o'clock.
And look, some of the
I've seen people here from Perth.
So a lot of what I see here, which is really interesting, is you not only are just like looking through comics right now. What you're currently actually looking for, this is a very social community here, folks. These are people that are very friendly. They all share the same love of comic books, superheroes.
That's why they call it a
supervillains.
community. It's a community.
Things of all these nature.
Take care.
Later. And look,
See, guys,
we have a shot of some comics on the wall here. This is literally like not even 10% of this wall. There's a wall back here, a wall back there. I mean, really good stuff. April, I'd like to thank you for rearranging some of these. I love these Flash covers. I'm still looking for Flash fattest man alive, okay? And I want a
He is.
reasonable price on
if
it.
anybody has it and they're willing to let it go for a good price,
Yeah,
us
something
up.
fair. I'm tired of people saying, oh, $95, even though the dog chewed half the cover off. I'm tired of that nonsense. Writing
yeah, I'm sorry about that. My dog was hungry.
writing notes in blue pen to their lover Griselda. Like, I'm not interested in this stuff.
One of my favorite things to find is love notes written inside of albums, of record albums, from a man to a woman or a woman to a man. It's great. It's like a time capsule. but not on a comic. Don't do that.
Yes, absolutely. You know, I took a visit to the Ronald Reagan Library. There are apparently over 1,000 love letters from the president to Nancy Reagan.
Wow.
That's really, I mean, that's impressive to me.
That's some sexy talk right there.
Okay, so man, this wall of X-Men has just been catching me all evening. We are looking at Transformers comics as we speak.
It's on eBay.
Guys, for those of you who are still on this live stream, you're absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for sticking with us.
Yeah.
Without you, our show is pointless.
And if you just popped in, hello and welcome. We'll be here for about another 10 minutes, and then we'll be done for the night. This is our inaugural Real Short Box Live. We'll probably do some more of these. We're working on setting up a studio, actually. So we're going to have our own studio here at some point in time. It'll be great.
And we are known for being overconfident. You might say cocky. I think Spero's After Dark was a huge success, and it's going to come back.
Yeah.
He just told us that.
Yeah.
He just told us.
He gave us the go-ahead.
And when the Godfather says it, it must be done.
And we don't look. These are handshake agreements. We don't need to sign nothing. This guy is literally hooking us up. I once again,
The Godfather does.
My
handshakes.
goodness.
you know, people who are just joining us, Donald, you had a $100 gift certificate, and you were able to get 50 books.
Over 50. Yeah, absolutely. I did. I ran through that back issue bin there and the 50-cent boxes and stuff. The over 300,000 50-cent boxes that he has in the back. I ran through that and I pulled out a bunch of fun, really cool books. And then getting that first nail biter, that was so nice, guys. So thank you so
No,
much.
but what I wanted to really get at is, out of those 50 books, one of those books was $40, which would lead me to believe he threw in extra books for you.
I walked out with $10 still in my pocket.
Wow.
I only spent 90.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus he stamped me. And if you spend over $25 in books in the shop, you get a stamp on a card. And each time you get a stamp, each time you spend over 25, and if you get your stamp card filled, you get a free $25 worth of books. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
That's,
Can't go wrong.
and look, what's interesting too, and I don't go around dissing comic shops. I'm happy when there are ones open. There's even one that is going to open here, shortly, that we were talking about. But my thing is that Spero's is very unique in their back issues. Okay, you're just not going to find, in my view, you're going to find anything like it if you are into back issues. And this guy doesn't just squat on what he has. He doesn't pull things out of his closet. He is actively out there hustling to get better books for you to read. And this is exactly what you want
You agree
when you
with
go
your brother
into a
Josh.
comic book shop. All right? Because the reality of the situation is, all of our fans are not necessarily hardcore comic people. These are people that need to learn things about how to obtain certain books.
Some people.
These are folks
And
that
some
need
people
to learn.
just want to talk.
Yeah, that are trying to get into it. They just don't know how to quite start, And honestly, if you hit us up at realshortbox@gmail.com, we could definitely talk to you. And a person like Elliot Spero is going to make sure that you're being properly taken care of, and his staff is outstanding.
You can message us on our Facebook page too, or Instagram. I get a lot of messages on Instagram that I answer as well. Just, I got this book. What do you think? How much do you think it's worth? What condition? Stuff like that. We don't care. We're happy to answer that kind of stuff. It's what we do.
And once again, because of Elliot and his staff, let's not forget that staff. This is why this is a great experience for people to come in here and buy a comic book.
Yeah.
You have people that know what they're doing. They're not going to blow you off. This has just been.
Yeah, you're not getting blown here.
Getting blown away.
Sorry,
Getting blown
I
away.
saw you back there. You were like, "What? Why?" It's not happening. No.
Yeah. So
It's all right, man.
I tell you, coming in the future on the Real Short Box, we have a number of interviews with comic book artists that could be the next big thing that I'm quite proud of.
Yeah, we've got one on the Genesis 2 creator, Alan. That'll be coming up down the pike. We have some Star Wars podcasts that are coming up soon. That's going to be a lot of fun. We did a cross-gen, history of cross-gen, and we also did one recently, just last week we discussed it. We're going to be doing one on world domination, like which characters in comic books came closest or could come closest to world domination if brought into the real world.
be a fun one.
And I'll tell you,
that would be a lot of fun.
all three of us had a different answer. And this,
Oh yeah, in our heads, yeah. When we talked, we all had, yeah, it's true.
and this is why you listen. Like you have 3 individuals here that all have 3 different perspectives.
Uh-huh.
The one thing we have in common is how we come to our conclusions. We use certain processes. A lot of this is deep research. This is not literally us just coming up here and yapping. Like, and we're not like supremely talented groundling students. Okay, it might seem that we're just off the cuff with everything, but we are actually preparing everything that we are coming at with you.
Sometimes I just write stuff on my hand and it gets sweaty.
But he's
and
still writing on
smears and
things.
I can't tell.
The movie,
So I just make it
the movie
up.
Saw was written on napkins, sir. I just want to point that out to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could see part of that happening. Oh my God, the phone's ringing. Yes, we got a pledge.
It is one of those. It is one of those. Please stay open. I have been watching your live stream.
Yeah,
I want.
Can you stay open another 10 minutes?
I want that first appearance of Black Panther. I'm telling you. See, it's
It
repetitive.
might be gone before tonight. You never know.
Look, I mean, why would it not be
Be on
gone?
for tonight.
Why would it not be gone? This is Black Panther. I'm telling you. You're like, oh, it's too much. It's too much to pay for it. Do you think it's not going to go
Someone's
up?
calling in a question.
Oh,
It's like, do you think
Maybe.
that's not that Black
Maybe not.
Panther's not going
what
to
do you
go up?
want to? Can you?
So anyway, like I said, people are asking like, oh, I don't want to pay that for Black Panther. It's just going to go up. Guys, don't be
It's only
stupid.
gonna
Oh yeah.
Well,
Don't
it's
be
like
stupid.
Deadpool.
You want to buy it off the wall?
Oh, someone wants to buy some off the wall. Look at that.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's working. Look at that. You see the power? You see the
Yeah,
power? Look
absolutely.
at that.
It's tough because we want
drunk on
we want
powers.
to stay
You're
focused here,
drunk
but
on
it's easy to get distracted
I'm
because
just
this
drunk.
is really exciting stuff.
See, there's commerce.
line
There's
of
commerce
people
going on
Okay.
right now
Wait,
in the
hold
shop.
on. Sarah, do we still have that Count the Suspense 27 on eBay?
And I'm telling you right now, guys,
Okay.
listen,
Commerce.
you are talking
Wait,
about
wait,
Okay,
who
you
is
want
that?
it?
Who is that?
It's a guy by the name of Eric Hernandez.
Did-
you want that
did
Count the
he hit us
Suspense
up on,
27?
Did he hit us up on YouTube?
Yeah.
Then yeah. it's
That's
up.
him. He's legit.
got it.
Yeah.
He's legit. And listen,
Yes.
We got it for you, buddy.
Okay, it's
thing is,
held.
we
It's
have
held.
real legit comic fans. You know how I
Okay,
know they're legit? They're here on a
uh,
Saturday night.
Late Saturday.
Which one?
Incredible
The-
Hulk.
The Thunderbolt.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
That's a
oh,
smart
right.
man right there.
Hey.
All right.
That's
I
a
told you
smart
guys. I
man.
told you. Who
It's
owes
gone.
me money?
I'm telling you.
You
That's
see what happens? You
Look,
snooze, you
that was
You
lose.
a
wanna tell
smart-
me yourself?
smart move.
Look, we are almost never wrong on these prospects. And by we, I
Put it
mean
on
this
speaker.
guy.
He wants to thank you guys.
All right, here we go. And we just keep it a little quiet in the background real quick here.
Where's
Uh,
audio?
oh,
Oh, there we
speaker.
go.
All right, just one
All
second.
right, we're listening.
Eric?
Hey guys, this is Eric Cervantes. I'm Vintage Ultra. I just want you guys to know you guys got a great show. I'm buying that Hulk for $49.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. I you know what? And you're gonna appreciate it. I promise you. You're not gonna regret it. 100%.
And thank you for listening. It's not
Yeah.
possible without people like you listening. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah, we definitely do. And we appreciate
You're a
all your
righteous man.
comments and stuff. So please keep listening and keep watching.
All right.
All right.
All right.
You see, I mean, there's something really refreshing about that. You know, you recommended the Thunderbolt comic. It is I'm sorry, it's a must own.
Someone took it up.
It is a must own at this point,
Absolutely.
and somebody is now going to own it, and they're going to benefit from it.
I gotta dig in my box to make sure I have it.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding. I have it. I brought it with me because I'm so passionate about this book. I didn't think he had it still in the shop. So I brought my own copy to show you all, but then when he had it, I just took it off the wall and I was like, this is gonna go. Like it's just too good of a book.
We showed it an hour too. Now, one of our persons who's on the live stream, I know personally, is a big sports fan. I just like to say, Kevin, maybe you know this more than Donald. I really feel like Jim Nance this evening.
Here you know.
Yeah, you know, it's like I feel like I'm kind of pushing the conversation, but you guys, your expertise is outstanding. And I mean, this is really great stuff right here. You know, I want to call the Masters next.
There you go.
This is what's coming up.
Okay, we got another question here, real quick. It says, would you be open to the idea of a Vertigo cinematic universe?
Absolutely.
Are you kidding me? We talked Vertigo up quite a bit actually when we did Independence.
I think Why the Last Man is primed for a television series. Can't be a movie. I don't think it can be a movie, but a television
you need
series.
time to tell that story.
Right. I feel like Watchmen, it's best told
Much like Preacher.
in a
That's a Vertigo
cinematic
book.
serial
series.
realm. Yeah. Look how long my arms look when I do that.
No, it's
Mr. Fantastic, everybody.
Speaking of long, speaking of
Oh,
long,
wait,
speaking
hand
of
me
long,
something. Here, hold this, and then hand it to me. Ready? Watch this. See, I stretched it. It was clear over there on the shelf.
and though it may be themed, we call this filler, folks.
But
And
look at this.
speaking of,
Since I was talking about this series earlier, Deceased, look at this cover, guys. This is an It. Obviously, it's from It, and that's the Joker holding the balloon. I don't know if you can see it.
The perfect person to hold it.
But it's so cool, right?
hey,
Like that was so cool. This one gonna be either a movie or a series soon, by the way. So if you can find this, $20, pick it up. And then this one right here, it's about a $30 book right now. None of these are at the shop that I know of right now, but this one I highly recommend getting now. This is the first appearance of Kate Bishop, the Hawkeye's daughter that becomes Hawkeye, and she's going to be in the series on Disney Plus.
you know, I wanted to say, I'm trying to get this one out. Speaking of long, our checkout line. This is really, something.
Look at that checkout line.
He got cut off. No problem. No
No,
problem at all.
I
Happens
say,
all
I
the
say
time.
back there. I don't
The
mean to
Godfather's
call you
like
out. I see you have a
taking a
number of
Oreo
graphic
purple
novels
donut.
in your hands. That's the best deal right now.
We appreciate you calling in.
Spero's After Dark. The best thing going right now
And-
for deals is those graphic novel deals.
And I just want to thank everybody. We're at time, so this is it. We're calling it. We're done for the evening. This was the Real Short
Thanks for
Box.
coming, everybody.
Spero's After Dark. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Thank you for listening to our ramblings, especially you on the live as well, a podcast streaming. Thank you for coming out and just asking the questions and being so nice.
We're going to do this
We
again
appreciate it.
in the future very soon.
Yeah, and we can do our proper exits. So everybody, that's the Real Short Box. You can find us, of course, on YouTube and
Instagram.
Thank you.
at Sprecher.
Yeah.
Spotify.
and
iTunes,
Spotify, Google Play Music. Find us on
iTunes.
Instagram. Find us all over the place. We don't have a MySpace account yet, but we're working on it.
And once again, I'm Darren.
I'm Supreme Chancellor Kevin.
And I'm
Gotta take
Professor Donald.
And wow, that last part of our exit is not going to work because we're actually at the comic
We
shop.
actually are at the comic
Well,
shop.
we'll see you here at the comic shop. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it
Have a
very
good night.
much. I'm going to type good night.
625 off of it.
Okay, so 7. So this is 18.
And
There's,
get in there, guys. One last hello. Get down here.
18,
And goodbye.
See you
ya.
later.
Bye-bye.
and,
Goodbye.
Let's hear it for Spero's After Dark.